Yo. All right. All right. Let's make sure we're sounding good. And we'll get this thing rolling. Chat, how we doing? Okay. Oh, this thing is falling. Yep. We got chat, Penn State or SMU. Come on, man. I'm going to be honest. Haven't watched SMU play a game this year. Maybe a little bit of their bowl game. Maybe. Not their bowl game. What was that? Their championship? Yeah, their championship. Clemson. I'll take Penn State. You know what I mean? I don't even know what I'm getting. I'll take Penn State. All right, we're going to get this rolling in 1 second. Let's get this. All right. Now we're good. Okay, we're going to get this rolling, man. I got to pull the injury report so we can start with that. Usually we don't do it like this, but we good. Let me also get the thing off. Let me get that off. Yeah. All right. I'm going to pop in right now. About 5 seconds. I'm in. About 4 more seconds. I'll be on the screen. Y'all just 3 more seconds. I'm here. We're here, man. All right. Let me get the thing pulled up. Let me get the injury report. Let's just knock that out. I want to knock that out first. This live stream is being brought to you by BetUS, man. As always, in the description, man, YouTube 150. That's the code. You're like, hey, I don't got a sports book. Well, you found one. Right here. You found it. Watch me live. It's crazy. YouTube 150 is the code, man. Go over to BetUS, sign up. Use that code when you sign up. Get your 150% deposit match on your first deposit. 125% on your next two, up to $2,000. Take advantage of that offer. Drew Aller looked awesome, and then Drew Aller decided not to come out for the draft this year. But, and look, I feel like he's a little, raw, I guess you could say. I mean, I guess Josh Allen was too. But man, if that guy was coming out in this year's draft, like we were doing it for the round table, and we found out, I think, that Aller was staying in the draft. I don't know if it was that day. It was like during the week. I think we all had him in our top 5. I know I had him in my top 5. You know what I mean? And then it was like, hey, he's coming back. It's like, all right, I got to change it up a little bit. But yeah, Drew Aller's a dog, and I didn't know he was about that life, until I started really watching him. So, yeah, we're gonna start with the injury report. I got a ridiculous amount of clips. This was kind of a weird week. It got thrown off on Tuesday because I wasn't on my Lion stuff. I was working on other stuff, so I kind of fell behind by a day. That's why we're going live, but we'll make it work. We just have to kind of fly through some of the clips that aren't necessary. I did go back. I have watched some Bears, and I also, can look back on the last game we played against the Bears to get a little sense of how that went down. And I'll just start with this as I'm getting the injury report up. Just in general, this is a game for our run game to come back to life a little bit. I know there's no David Montgomery, but our run game needs to get back to being what we all expect it to be, because it hasn't been that for weeks now. And I think this is a good opportunity to get there. I mean, Chicago, they're not bad on the front, and they've gotten a lot out of the pieces that they have and the guys that they've recently picked up. Credit to them. But this is the week where I think you start to find that rhythm again, because I said the last few weeks, it just hasn't been up to standard at all. And I'm sure they would say that as well. Whether that's being able to lean into it, efficiency, it's just not there. But we do have the Lions side. So like I said, we'll hit this first and then we'll get into it. There's the Lions side of the injury report so far, with Branch, Graham, and Iffy as questionable. Positive here is there is no Frank Ragnow listed, so I believe Frank Ragnow set to play in this game. The other two are expected. Right? Those are expected. Jalen and Dave Montgomery being out. Branch will be a big one because that leads to flexibility. Whether they want to do that or not is up to them, but it does lead to flexibility. We know last week, man, he was in a battle last week. Or not last week. Last time we played Chicago, he gave up the big 30-yard touchdown to DJ Moore when he mashed up in that game. But we did have some sound bites from Dan Campbell. So I'm going to play the sound bites quick. Do I sound crazy? Oh, snap. Oh. Okay, good luck. I thought y'all were saying y'all were okay. Give me a second. That's actually better. All right. Whoa. Who else is in the chat? What the heck is this? Hey, hold up. What? Hey, who's joining, dog? All right, I got to kick these dudes. Yo, I I don't know what that is. I think that's me. Edit mic settings. What the heck? Yo, I went live with myself. What is this? Oh my gosh. There's two of me in the chat. No, I don't know what's going on. All right. Hopefully that doesn't mess something up. Hopefully that doesn't mess anything up. But I see two of me in the background. Now they're gone. Okay, they dipped. I told them to leave. They left. They just jumped out of the chat. I don't know what, that was freaky. That was pretty freaky stuff. But yeah, we had some clips here, and I know this never plays when I do it on Bleacher Report, so I'm gonna try it over here, and then we'll get to the thing. We'll get to the meat of this. All right, we have to really dive into. All right, here we go. Let's hear what he says about E-Man. Here we go.
Good. This is the
one if y'all
best
can hear
week he's had since he's come back from the injury. I just think he looks so much more comfortable. He's moving around well, and it's been really 2 great days for him.
Hey, hey, I'm just saying, man. Emmanuel Mosley might be playing. I mean, this is like the time to really test it. Now, here's the positive spot to this before we even get to it. If you go to the Bears game last time, Vildor was out there. Khalil Dorsey was in that game. So we've already kind of been through this against this team. So there will be a lot of things I think that can carry over. Now, I think, honestly, as bad as Chicago's efficiency has been offensively, like in terms of just production, I do think they've expanded it since last time they played us. I think it's a little bit deeper. I think they have that ability to be a little bit more fluid offensively. But we've seen personnel-wise us have to kind of be in this situation. He also had an update on Monty, even though he's not playing this week. But Monty not having surgery, happy for him, not having a surgery if it's not necessary. Let's hear what he said about this one. I'm going to play this one too. Appreciate the ones.
We may see where this thing goes. We still got a decision to make, because even if that is the case, it's a matter, do you put him on IR? Do you see how fast he can back from it, all that, but it certainly sounds more optimistic. It's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah. So IR is still on the table, but this is great news. I'm happy for that he did continue to get opinions and seeing how that played out for him. It sounds like it was a real positive for him. But before we go into the actual preview, I did want to throw just for I want to throw this up there just for perspective. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the practice report. So they got the practice reports each day. We were reacting to those each day of the week. I wanted to get Fridays. Where was Fridays go? I had it. I don't know where it went. I thought I had it. Hold up. Maybe I didn't have it. I lied to myself. Oh, man. Did they not post Fridays? Okay, maybe I'm tweaking. I don't know. Maybe they didn't post Friday. I saw Friday. Anyways, whatever. We'll leave it there. We'll see who plays and who doesn't, right? That's the questionable. We got a couple guys questionable. Branch will be big. Frank should be good, which is great. That way we're not going to Michael Neese. And you don't want to have both Graham and Frank out. That's like the worst combination. Also, Kevin Zeitler was really good last time we played this team. Like, that was the guy I focused on. So we'll keep an eye on that. My man says, look at what the Bears coach said about the Lions. Did they clip something? Because, I'm not trying to watch that whole thing. I'm going to be honest with you. If there's, a clip, though, we'll play it. Bears injury report. No Travis Homer, it looks like, which he's been playing for them recently, but getting Roshan Johnson back kind of offsets it a little bit. No Bates, so they lose a little bit of depth. The big one for me is Tevin Jenkins. Limited practice on Friday. Questionable today, or on Friday, I should say. Questionable on Friday. So it's on the table that he plays. Now, I don't think he was excellent last time we played this team, but that would be a huge loss if they didn't have him. Braxton Jones, it seems like he's also going to go. He's trending in the right direction. And even Javon Dexter, who played against us last time, is potentially available for this game. The weird one was Jalen Johnson popped up with illness, but it's still illness, so I wouldn't be surprised if he went. But it is on Friday. That's always a concern. They said they posted on Reddit and the Lions app. Was he talking smack? Chad, if he was, you know what I mean? If he was talking crazy. If y'all find it, send it to me. I want to get the preview started, though, just because this is a lot. Y'all know how these goes. These are insane. I want to get that going. But, yeah, we can look for it, especially afterwards. I'm down with that. All right, here we go. Let's get to the preview. I have the graphic, as always. We put a little graphic together. And then I got a ton of clips that we'll roll through. This will kind of be – I think it's funny thing is we did this with Easy for the Bears game, too. So this is, completely full circle at this point. But – as of now, BetUS has the lines up for this week's game, and I believe it's moved a little bit. The over-under, I think, has moved down a point. I think maybe a half a point, sitting at 47.5. The money line is, really trending towards Lions, but the spread has actually stayed the same at 6.5. It's interesting. It's an interesting number. They're sticking with that. I don't know if anybody's, really pushing the bet either way here. I think everybody's kind of confident that's probably where this thing's going to end up, is Lions by, 7. I'm not mad at that. I can understand why that wouldn't move a ton. I think also weather conditions, we're expecting it to be cold, but probably not a lot of like precipitation, right? It should be dry, which I think is huge for us. But I think people look at that, probably expect a little bit less scoring. So I think that makes sense. 6.5 makes sense. The over-under is interesting, though, because even though the weather's kind of rough, or it's going to be at least cold, I like the over. You know what I mean? I've been jumping. My bad. I've been jumping on the. Whoa! What I try to do? Bet $2 minimum wager. Over for now. Here's the thing too. With this over-under, my bad. Get off the screen. With the over-under thing, I've been jumping on the unders all year. I think it actually probably goes over this week. But I'll probably be wrong again because that's how it's been all year long. So if you guys want to get involved in the action hand, go over here to BetUS. We got some crazy lines. Like the one that stands out to me, this one's actually moved down a little bit. So if you got it in on it early, you may have got it at a good number. It was 14.5 for Green Bay and New Orleans. That's an interesting one, though. But shout out to BetUS, man. Use that code in the description, YouTube 150. Okay, now let's officially get to it. My man Bill with the 99 sticker. I see you. I appreciate you, Bill. Man, let's get some birthday cakes in the chat for Bill. Hey, I got to lay it out there. It's my birthday today. So, I mean, we got to get some birthday cakes in the chat, all right? Let's get some birthday cakes going. I mean, I'm going to lay it out there. You know what I mean? We just got to get some good vibes going, all right? This is a fish. Hey, we do birthday cakes for a lot of things, but today we really need to have birthday cakes in the chat. I'm just putting it out there so everybody's aware. You know what I mean? This is just how it's going to be today. All right, we need birthday cakes in the chat, and Bill got us started. So now we got something. I appreciate you, Bill. Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's get to this. We got the graphic. We got the clips. I'm actually going to start with the clips, and then I'll use the graphic as kind of like a, all right, we can go back to some things here. He said we're not the same team we was the first time we played them. He did in the press conference. Oh, did he say it like with a little hating energy? Was that what that was? I mean, hey, it could have been, you know what I mean? Talking a little, I don't think he's maybe wrong, you know what I mean? Like, I think we all acknowledge that too, but the weird thing about that is, like, in some ways, I think we might be better than last time we played this team. Passing the football, Taylor Decker is going to play in this game, right? So we didn't have Taylor Decker last time. That's massive. Man, y'all are blowing it up with the birthday cakes, though. This one looks like a pancake. I ain't even going to lie. What is that? You know what? They're still cakes. I mean, chat, pancakes or birthday cake. Like, if you had one, you know what I mean? If you get some fire birthday cakes versus a pancake, I might lean pancake. There's times. It depends on the day, probably. But let's go Vols. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. Come on, volunteers. Let's handle business. I appreciate you shining with the 5-piece. Hey, I appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it, man. Hello, Just a Fan. Shout to my man Shining here with the 5-piece in the chat. Yeah, we had to get that. We had to get that going. You know what I mean? The birthday cakes are a tradition. But the funny, I still remember Easy being like, "Yo, whose birthday is it?" It's like no one's birthday. We just do that for some reason. But now that it is actually a birthday, it's we got to do it. We got to spam it up, and y'all are spamming it like crazy. That's amazing. I appreciate it, man. Glad y'all are here. I'm fired up to do this preview. I love doing these, and actually, I enjoy them more. I think as a live stream. I think I enjoy these more as a live stream. Yeah, they just take so long to do pre-recorded. You know what I mean? So if we could just sit here and chat about it, I love it. So that's what we're going to do. Capricorns. I love Capricorns. I'm a Capricorn. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that, Kay. You know what I mean? I don't even know that. I don't know what that means. Is that good? What does a Capricorn do? You tell me. Give me the inside scoop on that, because that could be, you know what I mean? There could be some bad things going on with that. I don't know. But you love some baby style. Appreciate you, Bill. Just a Fan. You hate Ohio. I'm with you on that one. You know, and I can't disagree with you there. Okay, so let's dive into this, man. We're going to start with the Bears offense first, because there is things that I want to show, because I think the Bears offense has become a little bit more diverse. And I think even last week showed some of that, if I'm being honest with you. And one guy I got to give love to, DeAndre Swift's been a dog. Like, I'm just going to throw it out there. DeAndre Swift's been a little bit of a dog recently. And, you know, we joke about it or whatever, but, like, he played us pretty well last time. And then I saw him against Minnesota, and I was like, yo, this guy's running. So I'm happy for Swift, man. He's doing work right now. I think he's found a good spot for himself, and he's playing really good football. So, all honesty, man, it's great to see that he's able to be healthy right now and that he's just playing at a high level like he is. He's fit in really well there, and I'm sure Chicago loves it, to the point where Chicago, like, leans on him incredibly heavily. Like, I mean, on our team, you know, we have my bad, I opened OBS. On our team, we have, like, a real rotation that happens. Now, we'll see how that changes with, you know, the injuries, but we have a real rotation between backs. They're very heavy. DeAndre Swift's going to do pretty much everything. So, shout out to DeAndre Swift for doing some work. And when I show some of these plays, man, you'll be like, yo, he's doing a little bit of work there. And I think that's been the biggest thing. And I feel like there are some similarities to Buffalo. You know, obviously, Caleb Williams. He's not Josh Allen, but so much of what gave us issues last time was just extending plays, getting out of the pocket, something goes on way too long, and then bam, somebody gets open because of that. So in that sense, I think there's a lot of things that we carry over from that Chicago game and are saying, okay, this is where we had to get better against them. We have to get better against Chicago as well because they're going to attack us. They're going to have a lot of the same things. Now, even some of the play calls that we had defensively, I believe will carry over to this game. Things that we did last week against Buffalo, the two rat defenders, in man coverage that leaked out to the flats. We did that same thing against Chicago that we did against Buffalo. And honestly, I never even noticed that. So I should have pointed that out. Never even noticed that until going back today. And I was like, oh, okay, they're doing a lot of the same things. So they carried a lot of, I think, the game plan over from Chicago to Buffalo. So they have the same kind of respect for what it could look like. He needs an Aiden Hutchinson 2021 effort. He's kind of a decent season. All right, I missed something. Just got a call from Dan Campbell. Okay, Antonio. Hey, Antonio on the phones. He's activating me to the 53-man roster to guard DJ Moore. I guess I'll be on an island. All right, we're losing, dog. I'm going to be honest with you. Look, man. Look, sometimes things happen, bro. We might be losing this week. let's just keep it a buck, Antonio. We appreciate your services, dog, but you know what I mean? Hey, shout out to Spencer with the 21 piece. What? Hey, what if I just lied? It's not my birthday. No, I'm playing. Hey, what if I just lied? It's my birthday tomorrow, too. No, I'm playing. It is my birthday. I appreciate it, though. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy work, man. No, I'm playing, though. It is actually my birthday. Capricorns are awesome. Happy birthday. I appreciate you. All right. Next live stream is my birthday, too. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You know what I mean? No, yeah, well, Antonio might hold us back. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? It might be a problem. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm underestimating what he can bring to the table. He says he's putting the whole team on his back. You know what I mean? So Antonio might be cooking. I don't know. Okay, I see you, Brent. Those is 23. Charles, you're right. I am 23. Look at that. Charles got the calendar out, man. I am 23. All right. Here we go. So, yeah, let's start with this rushing attack, though, because similar to Buffalo, I think everything kind of starts and ends with like how well they run the football. And I think especially for Chicago, with how much they lean on Swift. And I feel like it affects their play calling so much what the heck first down turns into. I think it matters so much. Like even the way that teams have to play coverage against this team with the receiver, because they got dudes at receiver. And like the Lions would come into this one. Got a lot more two deep safeties. You got a lot of quarters coverage. You're watching Minnesota, a lot of Tampa too. So they're giving you more opportunities to actually be able to run the football. You know what I mean? There's opportunities there for them to have success rushing the football. So I think so much of what they are offensively matters. And when you look at this offensive line, still got Pryor at right guard, so they found some consistency, even though the guy's like 8 foot tall, but he is handling business at right guard. Tevin Jenkins, if he does go at left guard, I think Shelton's a little bit questionable at center, but I think what they've done well is they've leaned on their tackles. Darnell Wright, the first round pick, and then at left tackle, even a game like this, Amagaji, not great in pass pro, but as a run blocker, he was solid. So with Braxton Jones back, who's a very good run blocker, they've leaned into their tackle play. They've let those guys kind of lead the way. And I think it's led to a lot of success. You get a lot of outside rushing, which kind of threw me off, especially recently. Stretch runs, toss runs, everything getting wide for this team. And I think they're leaning on their offensive tackle play, and they're also leaning on their tight ends. Mercedes Lewis is a huge part of their run game right here, 84. And then, of course, they got guys like Cole Kmet, too. He isn't that bad. Now, I think Wright's been shaky in pass pro this year. Even last time we played him, I think he's been shaky. But he can definitely run block. And that's what they're good at. That's what they're good at. I'm the 6th. You're the 6th. Your birthday's on the 6th? Oh, snap. We missed that. I'm the 26th. Dang, that's pretty fire. You right after the Christmas. You're the 6th? Okay, Charles, happy late birthday. Her birthday is next Thursday. My 17-year-old nephew birthday is January 4th. Okay. So you're all kind of in the same area. That's how we are too. We're all kind of on December too. Even if we win, even if we have to get some for just to win. All right, let's go. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go. So I'm going to show some different looks. I'm going to let these play through, just different things that they do schematically. But let's just get this started right away because, I like to point out the wrinkles that teams are utilizing. And now with Roschon Johnson, maybe this pulls back because, like I said, they've leaned so much on DeAndre Swift that he's been just the guy. But immediately, you can see already how this is different than most run plays. DJ Moore is lined up at running back, and we've done this in the past. We don't really do it anymore, where St. Brown has gotten just like handoffs. We don't really do it anymore. But it does remind me of that, like when we were kind of in the beginning stages and we were trying to find ways to like, how do we just get the playmaker of the football? Okay, our offense isn't great. How do we just get him the ball? And we do Swift at running back, or Swift, we do Sane at running back. And that's what I'm seeing right now from Chicago, is like putting DJ Moore at running back. They're using the receiver runs a lot. And to me, this is huge because last time we played this team, to me, the reason that they ended up getting that first touchdown, not the reason, but what sparked that drive was they leaned on the run. You know, their first 3 plays of the second half, I think it was the second half. Yeah, first 3 plays was like run, run, run. They pick up a first down. I thought in the first half it was like they would kind of show it and then they get away from it. But they just like leaned into it in the second half. Like, we're going to make this happen. And it led to their led to their touchdown drive. So I think that's why the run game matters so much. But when you're seeing the way they're using the receivers to simply just put him at single back and just hand it to him, like, that's not normal necessarily. And then, of course, you got really good blocking here across the board. This is one of their stretch runs. You can see the great blocking across the board here. Hits this cutback lane. He picked up like 8 yards there. Bears getting swept just like the Packers. That'd be amazing. I mean, we need it. You know what I mean? We need it right now. We need to handle business. L coming in for the Lions tomorrow. Okay, D-Mon. Hey, come back. Come back after the game. Who else is surprised Swift has been healthy this entire season? Man, I'm happy for him, man. I really am. Our season's over. Hey, shout out the Bulldog, man. Shout out the Bulldog from the roundtable chat, man. Okay, and then we go to some of these interior runs. Now, this is where I feel like they've been able to kind of see. This is what I think. I think they have a good run blocking offensive line, and this to me has been a strength. And I think in recent weeks they've been able to kind of settle into the inside runs and find a lot of consistency there. The outside stuff works. They work behind their tackles. Swift does it well. But even to look like this with Homer, this will be Roshan Johnson. The interior runs like this to kind of lean into that. I think they found so much consistency by just running the ball like this, right? Just going into. Let me close this. Real quick. Just going into stuff like this, going into these dual run schemes, these heavier run schemes, this time behind Tevin Jenkins, and you'll see some of the movement they create here, and then Homer's able to work off of that. So this is a team that runs the ball pretty well, and the weird thing is like this isn't the whole Justin Fields aspect that it used to be. Like that's not why they're running the ball well. They're just a good run blocking offensive line with really good supporting pieces, specifically at the tight end position, and their backs are playing well. And you can even see it like with as we continue with some of the diversity that they show. I mean, we got another one of these duo runs here. There's a double team in the interior. This was a weird one, though. I don't know why the heck Turner was at defensive tackle. That's not great. I assume that's going to be a problem. You could just see that at the line and be like, yeah, let's do that. Let's run against that. But whatever. And then they have their counter pull runs, their 2 pulls. And again, last couple of weeks, I think this has shown itself. I think against us, we saw a lot of this as well. We saw a lot of the gap scheme, a lot of the power plays, a lot of the counters. They seemingly leaned into it kind of heavily last time they faced us, and they found success. But the key becomes the tight end position because they block well. But in this case, when they don't hit their blocks, obviously that shuts it down. I think they trust those guys. But if they're not consistently creating movement up front, they may get to those runs a little bit more. And the key to that is Buffalo did it to us all last game. I mean, not all last game, but for a lot of last game, they're like, yo, we're pulling offensive linemen, we're down blocking, and we're getting up to the second level. And if you remember how Buffalo did it, they just lightened the box. You know what I mean? They lighten the box, they spread us out, they would put maybe one tight end in line, and then they'd run off it, pull their safeties out of the play, boom, big run. So they may come to that a little bit. I don't know how much they'll actually lighten the box to do it, but they may get back to that same kind of scheme, and Lions will be tested again. I would say, personnel-wise, let's get a couple names here. Josh Paschal, who I think had a good game last time. Mekhi Wingo also showed up. I'll throw that out there. He's hurt now. It stinks. He actually showed up pretty well against Chicago last time, and I had forgot how well he actually played. So Mekhi Wingo was good, which to me points to Levi because he'll be playing some DN. So Josh Paschal, Levi, 2 guys I'd focus on. And then at the second level, David Long. I think this was kind of like David Long being introduced to the Lions, but last week was his best performance to me of, hey, all of these power runs and these pullers, like getting on top of plays. And he was playing so fast, and he added so much to the run defense that this is one of those weeks where Chicago goes like, all right, we're going to lean back into this again. And David Long's out there because I assume after getting 29 snaps last week, they may lean on him heavy again, that he's going to have to be in the mix a ton, and he's going to be a guy they lean on to find a way to slow down this run game. Now, the offset of that approach is simple for the Bears, right? It's not simple, but it's, hey, the run game with the receivers, we should keep that involved. And it's on the flip side, the Lions kind of have a back and forth with this as well. Last time they played Chicago, a lot of end arounds, a lot of jet fakes. They showed that from play 1. It was like, we're going to give you this look. We're going to make the linebackers respect it because we know how they're going to kind of fill through the defensive line. So we gave them that immediately. The Lions will probably also be tasked with that eye candy, I would assume, if they're going into those run schemes, because they're going to want to slow down and kind of make David Long wrong a couple times. You know what I mean? I think that's their biggest benefit is they know they can make him wrong. but he was right a lot last week because he was just playing fast. So that'll be the balancing act. And I would also say to that is, talking about those light boxes, we haven't got to the offense yet, but that's one thing that I expect the Lions to try to do a few times is like, hey, lighten the box. Let's go interior runs. Let's try to get 6 in the box. If they're in 2 deep safeties, let's run the football. Let's go 3 by 1. Let's spread this team out, and then we'll run out of that, especially with Gibbs. Wouldn't surprise me at all if the Lions said, let's lighten the box. I think that you can make these linebackers miss. You can make Edmonds miss. You can make TJ Edwards miss. They're both very good linebackers, but I think you can make them miss as a back. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions said, let's see if we can kind of spread this thing out a little bit and see if he can make plays on Gibbs, right? Give him a little bit more room to work with. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And actually, the weird thing is you think of Monty as like a certain style. Monty did really well on inside runs last time against this team. So it even speaks more to lightening the box, trying to find those inside runs. He actually shined there. He had a dual run for 9 yards early in that game, and they both ran pretty well. But he found real success there. And then this is where Swift is taken off. And to me, we didn't see much of this. So, the backside contained, we didn't get this much of this last time we played this team. But these outside zone runs, they're kind of slamming down the offensive line and then they're working off it. Again, look at their tight ends. So involved here. You see the huge lane they create. Their interior guys, they're trusting them to create movement. And it's DeAndre Swift that's added a huge element with the huge cutback runs here on a split zone, right? More of an inside zone here. But look at the blocking across the board. Amagaji, the rookie's down blocking right here. They're holding up at the point of attack. Now, you do get a little bit of a lighter box, so this is something that every team, I think, likes to do, but when you get different players on the interior, they're taking advantage of that fully. And I would say that to me is a growth within their offense. And obviously, Swift is running his butt off here. That's a growth within their offense. You're going to see this play. This thing is blowing up, and Swift just makes something happen. This is a great example of it, right? 2 inline tight ends, and I feel like they run more. The more tight ends they have on the field, they kind of lean into, we're running the football. Because I don't think they use their tight ends as much to create, confusion. I think they use it to be we're going to run the football, and we want to see if you can match it. So, here in a 6-1 front, right, they're going to this outside zone look. But watch how this gets blown up, and then immediately, Swift, the cutback lane, Ginkel's got to contain. He does it, and boom, Swift gets out of there, and he just creates something. He created 5 yards on that play. He's been awesome there. And the Lions didn't have this issue that much last time they played this team. Don't never say never, because I assume that's going to happen in this game. Swift wants to put on a show, just like Monty would against Chicago. He's going to want to put on a show at home. He's going to cook. So I expect him to be really good because Monty's been really good. So Lions got their hands full with this guy. And that's why I think the linebacker play has to be fast. But they got their hands full. Now you can see Wright here loses the block a little bit, kind of a blown block there. That'll be something to look at. I don't think Wright's fantastic. That's why I point to the DNs. I think they're going to be so important in this game. But you can see it. You can see it. If he is not squeezed inside, everything becomes a bounce. Everything becomes a big play for him. Did the mods block that Bulldog? What did Bulldog say something crazy? Hey, Bulldog's funny, but did he say something crazy? All right, let me see. Lions fans are going to be salty tomorrow, sliding to third. Now we wouldn't be in third, man. Come on, man. How we gonna fall in the third? We swept the Packers, dog. Come on, man. Give us a little bit of respect, dude. Bears going to hang an L? Man. You know what I mean? What are we talking about, man? You gotta be you're not a Packers fan. If you were a Packers fan, you would know. You would know you ain't moving out of third, dog. You know what I mean? You would know. You would know what time it is. That's all I'm saying. You definitely a Vikings fan. And it's cool, but I'm just saying, put a little respect on our name. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Y'all are the one with the tough game. Y'all got a tough game this week. You know what I mean? Don't know. Hey, y'all got to deal with Geno and if Walker's healthy. I'm just saying, man. You got something to deal with. So, Glasgow, injured and not playing great at left guard. It is mahogany time or left leg, the shorter one, and he is only right guard. Yeah, I think they'll leave KZ at right guard. I don't think they'll touch him. I think he played really well. But I think at left guard, man, definitely could be mahogany time. I think KO's still on the table because KO played well when he started the one game at left guard. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went that direction if Graham can't go. But I do think they leaned on Kevin so heavily last time they played this team. I think they'll be more confident without Graham Glasgow this week than they typically would be. But I will say that as we get to that side of the ball, we're going to get there. The nose tackle position for Chicago, the defensive tackle position has been way above expectation for me. They got guys like Chris Williams. And who's Chris Williams? He's playing well. Cowart, cohort, 93, you'll see him. He has been awesome. Like, he was awesome against Minnesota. He was shutting everything down. It was like, last time he played this team, I remember him being there, and I was like, all right, he made some plays. He was awesome. He's coming along like crazy. And then I've always kind of felt like they've had some underrated edge play. Like, they have Sweat. You can kind of run at Darrell Taylor. But then they also have guys like Walker, who I think is very solid. But yeah, on the interior, man, they've had a lot of production. A lot of production out of that spot. So we'll see how that plays out, because if it is a Mahogany and he's getting a look against these guys that are like, I don't know who they are, but they're making a lot of plays, that's fun. Like, that's a fun matchup for Mahogany, and I think that's the one that you would want as a fan. Like, not like, hey, he's going up against Tris Jones this week. Let's see how that plays. Like, yeah, that's probably not going to go well. You know what I mean? Mahogany's only played 3 snaps this year, so I still have no idea what it's going to look like. But we know Mahogany's a great puller, so if they do say, like, hey, we're going to that scheme a little bit, it might make him comfy to let him get out and run. And I also would say I think Taylor Decker being back is huge. I mean, last time we had Skipper, he was the guy that I think was probably the most inconsistent as a run blocker. He was good, though. He was good. I mean, he had the pancake block on Walker. But I think being able to go behind Decker for more consistency is there. But Mahogany will play into that. Us Lions fans haven't spoke about none of our opponents. Neither did the Lions players. Amon Ross said the Bears are a good team, so I don't know why Bears fans continue to beef with us. Man, I don't know either. I don't know either. It's fun, though. I've come to appreciate it. I think it's hilarious. But did we talk about the horror video yet? We haven't. Did you like it? What did you think, man? It's just a start. You know what I mean? I was actually trying to decide if I want to drop that here, if I want to drop that on the other channel. I was like, I'm just going to drop it here. I may drop it on the other channel, too. We'll see. Trap game. Lions 1-3 at Soldier Field. Bears spanked the Lions. They didn't spank us. They didn't spank us last year. They didn't spank us. They beat us. Wait, are you a Bears fan? I can't tell. You got to be a Bears fan. Okay. You got to be a Bears fan. You're making the case for the Bears. You got to be a Bears fan. Like, otherwise, I'm confused. Okay. Let's stick with this, though. I have a few more run plays to put in here, and you can see where they're finding success. I mean, look at the fronts that we're getting here. You got Dallas Turner over the guard on this play. Like, this is not the front. So they're finding success running against some of these lighter fronts. When teams are kind of in these sub-package looks, you also have to tackle because we know Swift will make you miss. And I think that's a disciplined growth within the Chicago Bears offense of like, okay, if we have that look, we don't need to throw the ball. We're just going to keep it simple. We're going to run the football, and we'll find success. But if you can blow up runs by beating guys like Mercedes Lewis on that stretch play, now you start to open up success. So matchups to watch. Malcolm played Sam Backer last time we played this team. Thought he was okay. I didn't think it was great. So who is it this week, right? Is it Trevor Nowaski? Probably. So how does Trevor Nowaski handle that role? Because, that was when we were kind of trying to figure it out. At that time, it was Belcom, and then he got hurt, unfortunately. So Trevor Nowaski will probably be in that spot. That's huge because he's going to be working on these tight ends. And then, like I said, Josh Pascal, I think, has a big game. Levi's going to be in the spot to do it. And then David Long. I expect what I expect out of JC. But David Long is... David Long's the guy I think that could, continue. If he can continue his upward trajectory, man, he's going to be huge for us. And I really think, like, after last week, it was like, oh, this guy might be hard to take off the field. And I'm just being honest. But this has to continue, though. If he has a terrible week this week and he's confused all the time or if he's not playing as fast as he typically, as he is when he's at his best, especially in coverage, because this was the first game where I was like, man, I want to see him make more plays in coverage. And then Green Bay was like, all right, we're going in the right direction. But it was like he's not making the plays. Like, he sees it, but he's not going. And I think he's playing faster now. He's a Bears fan? Oh, okay. All right, then I respect it. These the same Bears fan. All right, here we go. Let's go to the offensive side. Same Bears fan that will die to have our players. Dang. Why you do them like that? Oh, this was another run play. This you're not going to see this a lot, but it does speak to kind of the development. I mean, you got a zone read here, and this is like a full-on quarterback run. I mean, it's not great. That's not who they are. We know that, but I thought I'd at least just kind of throw it in. All right, let's go to the passing game because this is where I think that they're still very clearly a work in progress, but I do think that they're better. If I was a Bears fan, I'd watch this channel also. Hey, okay, Bill's an undercover Bears fan? No, I'm playing. But I appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, so, and it is Bears fan watching this channel, so I appreciate you. This is not the deepest, I don't think, drop back passing attack. I didn't think they were last time we played them, and I think that a lot of similar situations will come up in this game, and the Lions will probably play them the same. That'd be my assumption. I think we'll do a lot of the same things that we did last time. For one, Third downs, talk about some of the coverage looks, keeping a rat backer on third and short, right? Because this team plays the sticks very heavily. So keeping somebody over the middle, that way they just can't create a rub route and drag over the middle of the field like when we brought everybody and we had a huge play at the end of that game to set themselves up to almost go tie the football game. Like, that's the kind of thing that I expect to be kind of the same is the way that we approach this game. I don't think we're going to see a ton of change necessarily, but we have seen this. So to me, this is almost like an aggressive response to what I thought I saw last time I played this team. It was a lot of like, hey, we're going to have a concept like here, right? We'll get to this half field look. And then the backside, we're going to simplify. We're going to throw a screen. Now, in the past, I think when we played them last time, it wasn't as much of the screen backside. It was more like we're going to have like a delayed whip route. And I almost feel like in a lot of ways, maybe that was some of that was Minnesota because they threw a lot of screens against Minnesota. And I feel like they were just like, hey, let's just get easy completions. Right, this team blitzes a ton. We don't want to make it overcomplicated. We're just going to give you a screen. So maybe it's not as much of this unless the Lions go Minnesota mode and blitz like every play. But this was kind of like their little like tweak adjustment was we're going to have this backside screen, and they did this a lot. A lot of teams have done this. They've added this element, but this is a full on. Like, this isn't just tighting leading. This is the receiver also lead blocking. So there's the play side where he's going first, and if he likes it, he throws it, and if not, the backside, he's got a screen look. Now, I still feel like it's a little bit messy. And a lot of these, like, kind of these Tampa 2 looks, again, it's just a little bit messy in terms of, like, hitting the windows, being on time. I think when he steps up at the pocket, progression timing goes off. And you can see it, like, right here, right? Over route, and then we'll get backside screens check down. And that was kind of their response because I think against Tampa 2, they did well. Anakin's in the building. I appreciate you. They complaining about how aggressive Campbell is. Yeah. Now, but honestly, though, if a Bears fans complain about how aggressive our coach is, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. That tells me you nervous. I'm going to be honest. That tells me you nervous. But also, I think, like, my thing, and maybe, I think some people, there's still situations I'll disagree with. But for me, like, I'm like an acceptance stage where, like, I'm cool with it. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? He's gotten us to where he's gotten us. If it goes wrong and, we don't convert and it's like, oh, that got us, it's going to be hard for me to get very upset. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of along for the ride. Like, let's do it. Maybe it wins us a game. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's the opposite. But I'm here for it, man. I'm along for the ride. Let's roll. You know what I mean? I'm here for the aggression. I'm watching Indiana last night. And just to say this quick, Indiana punting the ball with 10 minutes left, down 17 across midfield. That frustrates me. And right there, it makes me love Dan Campbell. Because obviously that's like one of those things that not a lot of coaches would do anyway. But just seeing that and then remembering back to how first game for Dan Campbell, this dude went for it down like 30 points in the game on his own side of the field. And it was like, all right, we don't care how much we lose by. Like, I feel like Indiana against Ohio State and this last game cared about how much they lost by. And I hate that, bro. I guess it's different in college because of recruiting and like, oh, we kept it close. Whatever. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and in the NFL, I guess it's just different. But it's like, I like that Dan Campbell doesn't care. He doesn't seem to care. Like, oh, we lost by 15 or 40. We'll lose by 40, all right? But we're going to try to come back and win this football game. So if I had to pick a side, I'm picking that side all day. I don't want what the heck Indiana did last night. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that goofiness where we're putting the ball in that spot where we're like, yeah, we probably should go for it. We're running out of time here. We're going to punt it. It's like, come on, man. I don't want to see that. So, if I had to pick a side, I'm good with what we're doing. We'll stay with this defense, though, because I do think that it did well against Chicago. And, I didn't see us do a ton of Tampa 2, but we did do a lot of, like, quarters. A lot of quarters coverage specifically, a lot of two deep safeties in this game. And on first down, we definitely brought out the zone blitzing. Like, that was an element we brought back in this game. Some cover 2 blitzing. Like, there was some real zone blitzing, even some man blitzing on first down as well. I think we were more aggressive on that down. But especially the zone blitzing I thought was interesting. You could see I never felt it was super necessary to blitz Chicago that often. But here's what I've kind of come to. This is kind of I don't want to say it's a realization, but I think it's a take that I've come to with this. Is like, in a lot of ways, based on how they play schematically, I don't think blitzing a ton makes a lot of sense. I don't think blitzing and pulling players out of coverage when I don't think they have the deepest passing attack, when it doesn't feel like they can get through 4 guys if they have the time. Like, because they don't do that offensively, I don't love the idea of necessarily blitzing because I think they have less routes on the field anyway, so why would I hurry them up, right? And now the flip side could be like, well, if it's only half the field and he's still got the same amount of guys there, it's like, oh, you might as well blitz hurried up. But I think what people have gotten to, I think what teams have believed is that if they blitz him, Caleb Williams is not the same guy under pressure. And that's for every quarterback, but I think that they do get that sense that if like, okay, but if he can get past one, he may drop his eyes, he may not find the next guy as easy, he may get a little bit more inaccurate, just a little bit more sporadic right now as a rookie. So I think teams have kind of bought into that a little bit more rather than just a schematic look of it. I think they've bought into like, yeah, it's going to be a little uncomfy. Plus, I don't think anybody really loves their pass pro. I don't think defensive coordinators think they have excellent pass protection either. And I think that they believe they can go at Coleman Shelton, which I think you can. And at the edge spot, I think you can beat guys like Darnell Wright. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. But that's how I look at it versus how I think the Lions played it. It was a little bit different, but I mean, both can be successful, but like this, like they're dropping out, right? It's a 4-man rush. You're in Tampa 2. You know, you have DJ Moore if you want to try tight window. He doesn't like it, so Caleb Williams tries to break the play, and then he ends up throwing it away. And we had a lot of this into this game. I appreciate you, Jody, with the birthday cakes. They're trying to steal our coaches. Thank you for that. And what is the point? Dang, okay, he coming on his neck. Y'all going back at it. The truth is the Bears always play the Lions well. They do play the Lions well. You know what I mean? I disagree with that. Hey, I'll give you this, man. To be consistent and not just be a crap talker right now. Coming into the season, I was like, yo, the Bears, I thought we were built to beat the Packers. But the Bears were like, yo, I thought the Bears would get us once. I think I had us losing to you guys one time. You know what I mean? So there you go. Now it changes during the year. You know, outlooks, perspectives change when you kind of see how it's playing out. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, y'all do play us tough, no doubt. That's because of your defense to me. But you could see where they can create beaters, and that's, again, they have a competent offensive mind, no doubt. Like, if he gets the same look constantly, he has some beaters for it, and when the beater is there, you can see that they're going to find it, right? Same kind of look, and they'll invert their coverage. You know, we know how Minnesota plays it kind of goofy. They'll invert their Tampa 2 looks. So here, like, they kind of create this wheel, and you can see the full-on setup here. And when he sees it, when he believes in it, he's going to let it go. And I think that's why you get so many of these. And this goes back to last time we played them. I remember coming in that Green Bay game. Off of that Green Bay game, it's like, yo, he made some ridiculous throws against Green Bay. And to me, it's because Caleb is very willing to throw those tight window, insane passes. It can get him into trouble, but he'll do it. He a lot of times actually makes it good if the concept is there and it really presents itself. Like, he does not have a problem with taking the shot, letting it rip. I think you want to make him pay for that, but I don't think it's easy to, because he throws a really good football when he's stepping in and he's trusting it. When you're asking him to kind of like find the window, and it's like, I don't think it's constantly great. If it's like beyond the 1 and 2 and it's like, all right, find somebody else, I don't think it's great. I think the decision making gets a little messy, and you kind of see him like check it down. It's like, oh, you probably shouldn't have checked that down. Like, that's the kind of vibe that I get a lot of times, unless it becomes this. Once it becomes this, all that gets thrown out the window. So I think there's a real weakness, but I think he knows how to make it into a positive. And this is clearly how they make it into a positive, right? Same look defensively, same Tampa 2 look. You may have something here, blown block on the interior. You can see it right here from their offensive line. So now he's spilled. This is where things get messy. And this is where things from Buffalo need to carry over. If he crashes, you know what I mean? First off, you can't let him get the edge. You have to take these guys away. You're just outnumbered. You have to plaster guys in coverage, and he doesn't. He just floats, and boom, you get a reception on the sideline that was like 20 yards, and it shouldn't have been. You did everything right. You actually did well, but you creating pressure actually hurt you because of him getting out of the pocket. And this is kind of the point, is like Keenan Allen. I mean, if we're just going players and we're talking matchups again, Keenan Allen was such a big part last time we played this team. He had some big wins, and they used him schematically really smart. Like, and that may be an area where the Lions change things. I will say this. Number one, disguise coverage works against this team. There's certain teams where I don't think you want to disguise. You just want to play fast. I think disguising coverage is helpful against Chicago. I really do. I think that we saw the Lions do it a lot more against Chicago last time, especially when you know they're throwing the football. And it can be successful. It can throw off concepts, and then it's just not there. And I think especially in the red zone, the Lions may have to get a little bit more creative. They may have to pull back a little bit on, like, we're sitting in our two-man coverage, like kind of combination look, and that's what we are. Because we know ultimately, what do, right? They cleared us out, they hit Keenan Allen, and he walked into the end zone because they knew we were sitting in. That may have to add a little bit more juice, whether that's a blitzer, maybe that's a simulated pressure, because Minnesota did that, and it worked really well. When Minnesota went simulated pressure, there were times where they just didn't find the read out of it, and they would just drop in that same zone, but it was like, hey, that's a DN, but they wouldn't find the option out of it. So disguising works against this team, and I think if anything in the red zone, Lions may have to pick that up a little bit more this week, because I think last time they played them, they kind of were a little bit stagnant in those spots, and ultimately they ended up finding answers. And the guy that has a lot of times been their answer, like here on a dropping 8, like, right, so this is the balance, right, dropping 8 here, Keenan Allen's their answer. You know what I mean? Like, he runs this angle, they just miss him on the play. He has been the answer. He has a excellent feel for zone coverage, and Keenan also beats man. You know what I mean? Now, I think Amik played really well last time we played this team, so I'm fired up to see that. I think Amik played really well last time we played this team. So I'm down with that matchup again, especially in man coverage, but that would be the big thing there for me to keep an eye on. And then here again, Tampa 2, it's like, all right, maybe check it down to Allen. He doesn't, right? There's a blown block in the interior, and I think this one was... That was late there. That was Tevin Jenkins. But you could see the success that it had. And you could also see just based on their concepts, like how they're trying to attack teams, right? Like when it's third down, they'll run a lot of routes that settle onto the sticks. When it's first, second down, and I think this is why you saw like the quarters coverage, because like don't give up the shot play. They'll run a lot more of these concepts where it's like, okay, there's kind of a 2 setup and then there's really nothing else on the backside. Like that's just kind of it. And I think that's why teams play that a little more, is to be a little more conservative. But again, to know the way that and if you guys remember this play, let me know. The way that Chicago can adapt by just sitting in the same thing is their touchdown to Keenan. I think it was Keenan. Nah, maybe it wasn't Keenan. I think it was, though. I think it was, because he did like the little goofy dance. But they ran that like scissors concept. We went quarters, and it was it wasn't wide open, but we were late there. That's the kind of thing that they're capable of doing, right? They'll pick up on those things. Man, he said his current coach is shaped like an egg. Oh, snap. That's crazy. Let's go, Patrick. I see you. Patrick. How you doing? All right, we're going to stay on the offensive side. I got a few more plays. We'll talk about kind of their cover 3 looks a little bit and kind of their, I think, different responses to that. Again, you can see Rome kind of open here, and that's the problem. That is the problem. I actually think Chicago's done a really good job against cover 3 coverage this year. I think, one, they get a lot more singled up receivers on the outside, and they have guys that can win. DJ Moore can really win. I think they're really good in cover 3 this year. So I don't even know if I love that coverage. It can help you against the run, of course, but I think they've responded to it well. And we see it like this, right? They have some nice spacing out of it. Their high-lows work a little bit better. I don't think that's the best coverage against this team. I actually rather would just settle in man rather than playing cover 3 like this, because I think they had a lot of answers for it last time we saw this team. And you can see it. You can see how it's playing out. Like, even here, you get kind of this delayed jerk route, and you can see how it ends up opening up itself up. So I think they did really well against this. Their drop back passing feels a lot more comfy when you settle into cover 3 versus kind of clouding it with 2 deep safeties. I think that's where it gets messy. But if you're playing 1 deep safety, man, I feel like it simplifies it, and they find a way to get answers. Here's a basic one: bootleg, chip flat. Let's keep it easy. Let's go pick up 11 yards. So I don't love that coverage, but you may have to get to that if you can't stop the run. I would just say here would be my thing to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the lines trying to match the coverage. Last time we played this team, they tried to go some quarters, but match out of it at some point in this game because they didn't want to give away the vertical shots. I wouldn't be surprised if the line said, let's try to match some of this. Now, the downside, of course, is then the quarterback could take off. If it's third and forever, play your cover 3, right? Play your cover 3, settle in on the sticks. That works. The Lions did it like every third and long last time they played this team, is they played cover 3, and they ended up just settling on the sticks, and they were able to watch the quarterback when it was third and long. But in general, I don't love that coverage against this team. Unless there's probably some real wrinkle to it, whether that's matching the coverage, even though the danger, again, is he'll just run there, and it's kind of like, man, anyway, so why even play it? I like the quarters matching, but I just don't like that coverage in general against this team. I think that they play it well, and you can see it like here. Here's like, okay, let's blitz out of the cover 3. Well, you can see they find a hot read, they settle down, and they got the receivers to do that. Like, they got the receivers that can feel the openings and find them, and there you go. Dose off topic a little, but I have to ask you with this, do you think we can win a Super Bowl? With off topic a little bit, but I have to ask you. Oh, okay. I thought there was like a. Do I just state we going to? Yeah, we give it a Super Bowl. We get a Super Bowl. I think so. I think that we could play anybody, and a lot of it comes back to what we're doing today, which is like watching these, the schematic aspect. I think the Lions can schematically be in a really good spot for anybody. Like, I think they can pair themselves well for anybody that they find. So. It does come down to execution. I think they would love to get healthier in a few spots, or maybe just more reps are going to need to take place. I think Josh Allen was unique. I don't think most quarterbacks are going to be able to put that kind of stress on you. But I think it was a wake-up call because other teams are going to look at it and be like, let's try to run the ball like that. Let's lighten the box. Let's go, gap scheme. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's see if they can answer it. And same thing, like quarterback when he extends the plays, can you plaster receivers? I'd rather have that Terrion Arnold type of game now, where I feel like he's like lost a little bit and things are going fast and it feels like everybody's rushed and they're going at our linebackers and man coverage and we're not passing things off well with the new guys in the mix. I'd rather have that happen now than I'd rather have that happen when the playoffs start, where a team goes out there and they have the same strategy and you're like, yo, everybody is just, because we went through it after the game. If you watched the live stream, it was just a lot of dumb stuff. It was like, yo, this is not good football. We are doing a lot of dumb things to let this happen. And I really do believe that I'd rather have that happen now than have that happen back or in the playoffs when those start. I mean, it would kill us, and we wouldn't be prepared for it. Now, also positive is hopefully getting Duracell back. You know what I mean? You throw Duracell back in the mix, that helps you a little bit. I think we need Duracell or Jalen, one of those two, just for coverage matchups, just for third down. Because I don't think Ezekiel Turner's great in man coverage. So even though he moves well, I think we need somebody back in that spot. Maybe that's Iffy. Then you go Iffy and Campbell on the field. There you go. Especially if it's third and like 6+, you go to that route. But we need someone, I think, to help us a little bit more in those spots than what we have with the two backers. These bots have a full-time job. Yeah, I don't even know how that works. Like, is that somebody sitting there doing that, or is that just like I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I see you. Will we draft a DN in the first round? I think it's on the table. I think defensive end would be it'd be one of my top guesses. I don't know if I want to call DN. I think like a hybrid would be one of my top guesses. I would not be surprised if they went like an outside linebacker, with their top pick. It wouldn't shock me at all. Someone that can rush the passer, but also they kind of trust to play the run and drop into flats. A little bit more of like your 245-pound kind of guy. Like if they have something like that's there, I think that would be probably my guess right now. Getting health, Lions taking injuries every week. We are taking injuries, man, but we are getting healthy in some ways. We are getting healthy in some ways. We're getting guys back. If he's coming back, Duracell's set to come back at some point here. Hey, Monty's not having surgery, but I trust that group. We're getting some key guys back. Cornerback, Mosley might be up this week. That'll be fun if he can go this week. See what that finally looks like, and then Rakestraw hopefully pretty soon as well. Get a little more depth back to that cornerback room. And also, I think the offensive line's playing at a very high level in pass protection. Like, I think they're playing their best on the season. I know that's not really a health thing, but we'll see how that looks if Graham's not out there. But I thought they played one of their best games last week. And then you get to man coverage. And again, this is where I'd rather play this than I'd play, like, cover 3. But that being said, the big thing I'd point out about this is just look at how they're playing this, and this is what the Lions kind of did. You guys remember the play last time we played Chicago where Terrion kind of had an interception and dropped it? And it was like, what the heck? Well, that was bracketed in because I believe we were in cover 1, but we had a robber on the play, and we put him on. We basically gave him inside leverage help. So we basically bracketed in one of the receivers on third down. And it was a third and long, and I think it was a third down, and it was incomplete. He almost picked it off. Well, that's how I expect the Lions to probably play this again. They gave looks like this where they would drop out their edge rushers, they bring 3-man rush, and then they kind of spy like they did last week. Against Josh Allen, keeps him in the pocket. They also, playing the sticks, will drop a safety down, kind of settle down on the sticks, because one thing we know about Chicago, and if the Lions are playing man again, now here's where the disguise comes in play. I suspect Demond is Broski Bear. Oh, it might be. That'd be funny. But no, that's crazy. But this is where disguise comes in. Like the Lions did some cover 2 on third down, where it's like, all right, we changed it up a little bit. Same thing against Buffalo. I think and I don't know why this is. Maybe it's just coincidence, but I think we've had this for a few weeks now where like game to game, there's been things that really have carried over to the next opponent. And I think for Chicago, some of the pass game things carry over because I don't think Buffalo's a great drop back passing team. So I think there's a lot of similarities. Keep the dude in the pocket, right? Don't let him take off and make something happen. On third down, if you are going to play man, for them, it was like find the one-on-ones on the outside. Maybe the same thing in this case, too. Find the one-on-ones on the outside. But for them, they play the sticks heavily. And we know with Chicago that they rely heavily on rub routes, pick plays. They had one that was, I think they had 2 offensive pass interference last time they played us. So, yeah, give the refs ear like this is coming. But they rely on that stuff to get them open. So, outside of just winning one-on-one, these extra help defenders are everything. A guy that settles into the middle field, a guy that drops down over the middle of the field, the single high safety. If it's third and long, 2-man coverage, right? 2 deep. If it's third and 2, having a rat backer, 2 rat back, like something like that. It matters a ton because I think they kind of lean into that working. And even on a play like this thing with pressure, this isn't even a blitz, but you can see great pressure. We can get pressure. Za'Darius had a nice game last time. Nearly throws an interception, basically threw it right to him. And then here, I don't want to say this is guy's look because he kind of drifted out, but I guess it kind of is. Even though it's just cover 1 and they're blitzing on this play, you can see again. Maybe he had somebody, but he gets out of the pocket. And that was the key to this one because he ended up picking up a first down. So I do think we can get after him. I think cover 1 blitz is fine. If it's third and 5+, do it. I got no issue with it if you can hurry it up. But the challenge, and I think it's a positive because last time the Lions not really having Carlton, last time they played this team, is that they know what it kind of looks like with Vildor on the field or with Khalil Dorsey on the field. Not with Mosley if he's out there, but they know what it looks like with those guys. So if that's the case again, then the Lions may have to look at that and be like, okay, how did we actually perform? We were in those spots. And if there is no Brian Branch, now you really have to take a step back and be like, okay, what do we do in these spots, right? Is Iffy stepping down to play man coverage? Are we trusting him there? Or do we say, let's just let the corners play it, let's not blitz, and let's give them a little bit more support? Because typically Branch would slide down and man up on somebody. So are we now saying that, hey, without Branch, instead we're not going to be blitzing as much, or we're going to bring a safety blitz rather than have the safety drop and here comes the cornerback, or here comes the backer? The Lions will have to make that distinction of whether or not they want to continue to be aggressive in those spots, or they're going to pull back and lean more onto the support. I think aggressiveness makes sense. It makes sense because it's like, hey, we got to hurry this dude. But I still think just by the way they play, I'd lean more into just more support in the back end. 2 deep safeties, rolling one to help underneath if it's a shorter down in distance, or 2 deep if it's just staying deep on the play if it's a little bit longer. Like I'd lean more into that. And what we saw against, and I will say this, like a side note, just as a coverage side note, similarly to what we saw against Indy, if you remember we played Indy, like they had a lot of those over the middle of the field things they tried to set up, and the Lions went to the palms coverage, so they were playing quarters, but they were like reading inside outside, so they were kind of still sitting on top of everything. Maybe something like that. Instead of just playing straight man, it's 3rd and 9, like let's play some palms coverage that we can collapse the middle of the field. Difference is they're probably a little bit more willing to just be like, let's go get DJ Moore and throw it deep one-on-one. But that was a little bit of a Lions wrinkle last time, so I just throw that out there. All right, we don't have many more plays offensively, so I'm just going to kind of roll these through. You can see the rub they create here, but this is an out and up, and this would be another thing. Like I know I'm saying a lot here, but again, these are the little things that I think may come into play. Switching man coverage. First off, the depth is everything. Whether the Lions want to pass off routes because they're expecting these, or depth just has to be outstanding. Look at this, right? You're going to run an out and up route, and with his depth being on point here, they take it away because they're not bumping into each other. You can see that they try to set it up, so now he's got to work back over top, but he stays on top of it, takes away the out and up route, and understanding where the sticks are, right? Not playing in a spot where you're overly aggressive to get underneath the sticks, but staying on top of the sticks. So this is the kind of thing that's massive. So what do the Lions want to say, okay, we'll communicate and we'll drop that, or they want to do things, or they'll just stay in their man, which they typically do, because you can switch man pre-snap, but once the snap starts, did my thing just unplug? Am I good? Am I good? I should be good. Test. I'm going to assume I'm good, but I don't know if I'm good. I'm going to assume I'm good. Anyways, I don't know what that was. I think that was my phone. I just heard the noise. But that being said, like this is important because this is so much of what they rely on, and that's why you get throws like this. I'm good? Okay, cool. But that's why you get throws like this that aren't open, because he's just trusting that concept is going to get them open, so he just throws it. That's the kind of thing, and we saw this last time. He threw it right at I think it was Vilder or Dorsey on like the little fade, and it was like that wasn't open at all. But they trust those like 2-man concepts to get open especially when they're expecting man coverage. So much of it is just about depth and then the communication aspect, because if you take that away, he might just throw it to you. He might just give you an opportunity. And this is what I'm talking about, simulated pressure. This is what I was saying. So defensive end drops, you bring an interior player. It's still a 4-man rush, but it's simulated. And it's the Tampa 2 look, but you can see where it's open, right? You can look at this and be like, yeah, he's open. Caleb doesn't find it. Part of that's the blown block. Part of that's why simulated pressure is effective, because, look, they don't pick it up on the interior. Guards late. Coleman Shelton's taken out of the play, so now there's pressure. His eyes are now no longer looking anywhere else. He's just staring at Keenan Allen. But it's also effective because not only you're not creating pressure, but it's not a team I think consistently does incredibly well. Like, okay, here, let me get to the next. It's just not fantastic at doing that. So keep an eye on some of that is the kind of lines of the sky. Same thing here, right? They're blitzing now from the interior. And, I think this is just one of those occasions where they just have less guys. And actually, no, they're just bringing a 4-man rush here. I'm taking it back. I think it's simulated again. But, I mean, look how long he's holding on to the ball, man. This is what I'm talking about. Like, they were struggling against this Tampa 2 a little bit, but you could see a window. And this is an edge rusher. It's like, hey, throw this. He's like, I don't know if I want to throw that. And then the play expends too long. So you just have to contain this. Plaster and then track him down. That's it. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. So that was one side of the ball. We did good. I want to make sure I didn't leave any notes out about that side. So let me check my notes here. Run game. I'm going to throw it on the screen, actually. That way you guys can see what I'm reading off of here. I put the note sheet together. So I'm going to read this or just kind of show it on the screen. We'll walk through just a couple of these points, and then we'll flip to the other side. The other side of the ball isn't as long. But I wanted to... What was that? Were we looking at Bears offense? Or was that Bears defense? That was Bears offense. Yeah, it was Bears offense. If they came back and here's some sense, they wouldn't be getting blocked. Oh, blocking people? Oh, snap. Maybe just time people out. Just time people out. Unless they said something crazy, then I trust y'all. Block who you got to block. You know what I mean? Block who you got to block. Hilarious that we're deleting board comments. New trend I'm enjoying. He's not Broski Bear. All right. Well, hey, we had to check. He's not Broski Bear. We got this. Let's dominate. With all this tape analysis, Lions do not have the Vikes defense or pass rush. Lions secondary hurting as well. You said we don't have the Vikings defense or pass rush? I can go with you on pass rush. I think they're better at edge rusher than we were. But I haven't really pointed out anything about edge rusher, to be honest with you. I think we have a better defense than Minnesota Vikings, typically. But I will say, I think their edge defender play is better. I will give them that. I think it's better. Let's throw up this graphic. I'm going to get this off the screen just to point out kind of the key notes that I had. And this is mainly recency for these notes because I wanted to pick up off of where he left off. Not to say the same things, but DB run sports a must. We saw the Swift stuff, right? Defensive ends and DBs helping us out. That's huge. Swift is running at a high level. I think pass will have a big game. David Long. Also watch for DJ Reader. Reader is going to have a lot of stress on him now without Aleem. Watch for Reader. I think Reader did a really good job on the stretch plays, the outside runs. Reader did a really good job, I think, at those spots. You know what I mean? Like he did a nice job of not falling behind gaps. I think it did a nice job of kind of eliminating some cutback opportunities. So watch for him even if he's not making the play. If you're seeing like cutbacks that are hitting the middle and Reader's probably struggling, but I don't expect that to be the case, to be honest with you. I think he played well last time he played this team. Lewis is a guy to watch, as we touched on. You know, they kind of lean on their tackles and their outside runs. This has been the new era a little bit, is the counter pulls and things like that, because that's what the Bills did to us, so I expect that to carry over. Wide receivers in the run game. Homer's not a receiver, but he's out. Roshan Johnson will probably get the interior stuff. DJ Moore's been a big part of it, and this is what they found lately to me, is the inside runs, the duo runs. They've kind of leaned into that. And then who plays Sam? I expect it's Trevor Nowoski, so is he better than what we got out of Malcolm last time? You know, that'll be something to watch. In the past game, matchups to watch, Amik versus Keenan Allen. A lot of times he's in the slot. Now, does Branch play? That's huge because it kind of changes some of your blitzing because the Lions typically put him in those spots. Does that become iffy in some spots, or do they make sure that he's on the tight end? Something to look for. I do expect first down blitzing again because that's kind of how the Lions played him last time, but maybe they change it. The big thing for that is it takes away the deep passing concepts, but it can pull back. But the biggest, and this is what I think they can pull back blitzing because they have less routes on the field. I showed all the Tampa 2 stuff that Minnesota did. The answer for that has been either the check down screen or the fact that they've kind of gotten to these short passing concepts, right? So especially if it's like second and long, I felt this last time in Chicago, they want to really kind of close the distance on the sticks because they know that they can create a concept that can get there. I feel like I've seen that a little bit less recently, but that's what I thought coming into that game. And I think for them, the short pass concepts are kind of their response to teams like sitting in quarters and things like that because they're just going heavy spacing, and they've done it in creative ways. Like they've had the 2-man, but they've also had like 3 in routes at the same time. And you're like, oh snap, they would just overload spots of the field. But yeah, I expect to kind of see them go back to that, try to stay out of third and long. I think they know that third and long is a disaster. And I think in this weather, just being cold, nobody wants to play in third and long. And I think Chicago knows, like, if it's third and long, we're in trouble. That's where negatives, that's where turnovers could pop up. We have to avoid that. We don't want Caleb Williams throwing it right to a defender because he's not really seeing it. We don't love the offensive line in pass pro, and it's not very warm out. They're going to try to avoid third and longs is my assumption. So I think we'll see a lot of these short pass concepts on second down. That's the spot to then drop out, don't blitz, that kind of deal. And then what else do we have here? So I talked about the scissors concept. Second and medium, too deep to prevent shots. You know, second and medium, not second and long, but second and medium, second and medium spots. You don't want to give the shot plays. I mean, that's huge there. They went to match later. I would say linebacker drops. How is Jack playing this? Because so much of those concepts are like, they have a lot of outbreaking stuff, but if it's like a deep 2-man, so much of it as well is like, how can we open the second level throw? And Jack Campbell did a really good job, and I think negating a lot of those last time we played this team. And over the last few weeks, Jack Campbell's been on one. He has been on one in these spots. So Jack Campbell's depth, keep an eye on that. He's been really good in that spots. And then, like I said, on third down, the different man coverage variations, and then the disguise cover too was a wrinkle that they used for Chicago because I do think disguise coverage does work well. We talked about this. They will go at Terrion in man coverage because the Lions may say, like, let's give, without Carlton, they may be like, hey, we're going cover one Robert, let's slide help to Vildor or whoever the other corner is, leave Terrion on an island. They'll probably go at him. We saw the 3rd and 18 last time we played him. He just dropped it on the deep post, but he kind of pushed off too. But regardless, we saw that. And then this is who they are. They're going to run the pick plays. They're going to do these little setups underneath to try to force something to get open. And that's where you got to be smart about it. Like, you can't have, I think in their own end zone last time, I still hate it, that the Lions did not have an underneath defender. They blitzed the heck out of him like 3rd and 4, and he just ran a drag, and he got like a 30-yard gain. It was like, Lions, we can't do that, man. You know that's what they're looking for. So that frustrated me. Hopefully we learn from that. And then red zone. Last point we didn't really touch on. Lions ran a lot of this, the two-man combination coverage, and ultimately they found a way to win, right? They got the little opening to Keenan Allen. They found some success out of it. I think the Lions need to win up front in these spots, yes. But also, I would keep an eye on if they want to go to similar looks, jamming and throwing off timing, because their answers were simply like Keenan Allen on an out route. So obviously winning that one-on-one, but if you're going to go with two deep safeties, and I understand why you do it, right? You don't want to give like the seams or the vertical shots. I get it. You don't want guys isolated. That's why the quarters got you, because you try to play. They ran the scissors concept and he pulled a safety because we weren't trying to give up those in the high red zone. I get why you do it. But if you are going to then say, okay, two-man, we're not going to give that up. Great. Maybe jam them at the line, right? Get a little bit more physical. Try to throw off timing a little bit more. I think we have the guys that are more comfortable in that spot anyway. And then I expect Smith to get after it. I expect Smith to get after it when we can get him into interior spots. They could have their backup left guard, but I don't know. I don't know with Tevin Jenkins, but Pryor at right guard, I think he's inconsistent in sack, and I think you can get at right. Big thing here is this, and I actually put this on the wrong tab, man. I put this on the wrong tab. I guess it leads us into this because my man just said no more turnover. My bad. My man said no more turnovers. Y'all see that bottom, right? No flags. Taunting and a hold in the red zone. I don't even know if it was a hold. It was the weird call in San. I think it was a hold. But those were two calls that killed us. And last time we played this team, especially now in these elements, it's a fast game. It is very limited possessions. Everybody's running the football. We had the ball like 7 times, it felt like. And in the second half, as soon as we just left a couple of plays on the field, it became a game. This is one of those games where you can't have that goofy stuff. And we saw Jameson get taken out of the game for that. And in the time, it's fine. We won the game. But looking back, it's like, okay, that can't happen again. Because we're not going to have enough possessions likely. And we don't want to play that game where we can be okay with like, oh, we gave up a field goal. Especially in this. Like, Bases missed a field goal last week. If it's 52 yards, it's going to be shaky. If it's 43 yards, now you got something. We can't have that situation. We got a guy taunting on the sideline, pulling us out of field goal range. We try to get back into it, but it essentially just forced us to a field goal. Then we missed a field goal. And then all of a sudden we have a touchdown, but we get called for holding, and it's like, back him up, no touchdown to red zone. And that piled up because if you guys remember, the game was 16-0 at half. We left a lot of points. We had a fumble by Jahmyr Gibbs. That's the turnover aspect. We left a lot of points on at half, and even though I don't think we played terribly in the second half, we just left plays out there. We didn't have enough possessions to make up. We didn't have enough possessions in the second half to make up for those mistakes. Every mistake became glaring. And everything we left out there early in the game could have been a difference from an absolute blowout between it or becoming interesting. And they made it interesting because of that. Do I think we run over 30 times? Let's get to it. I would say, yeah, I'd bet on 30 times. I think that's probably a fair bet, 30 times, because I think we can run well against Chicago. I think Gibbs will run well. I think we'll see a lot of Craig, maybe a little bit of Baki. Give me a little bit of Baki action. I think we'll run it 30 times. I think that's a fair bet. Does that say 86K seconds? How long is that timed out? He's only a Bears fan, not a... Yeah, that's true. 86,000 seconds? Yo, that got to be like a year or something, dog. Yo, hey, that's got to be like a year or something, bro. 86,000 seconds? Nah. Wait, no, that's probably not a year. Well... No, hey, it's probably a day. That's probably a day. That's insane, though. Okay, that's probably not. That's not a year. Is that a day? It's got to be a day. I overshot that. I overestimated. We swung and missed. All right, that is what it is. We swung and missed. You know what? Hey, people mess up. All right, sometimes you miss the shots. All right, let's go to this side. Let's talk about the other side because this one's faster. We're gonna talk about this Bears defense because I think you could run on this team. And Hungry Panda, they handled business. Hungry Panda, I was thinking about you when I was watching that game. It's like, you know what? I was way off on that. Hey, Julie, that running back, cooking. I'm still frustrated by Indiana, though. I mean, what in the world, punting the ball with 10 minutes left drove me nuts. That coach, I'm going to say this now, and I may be wrong, but I'm going to say it because we're live anyway, and no one will remember this. Bold claim, I think Cignetti wins like 7 games next year. I mean, I think that he, like, they're saying he was looking at the schedule to find 10 wins. What? Yo, like, I get it from, okay, it is about a day then. I get it from, like, a perspective of, like, okay, Indiana's never really done this, so it's like, all right, that's great. And they did their job. But, like, when you talk about get to the next level, like, I don't want to hear that garbage. And I feel like he did the same thing against Ohio State where he was just playing to make it kind of close at the end. They were like, oh, let's milk the clock. It's like, bro, what are y'all doing, man? Try to make it interesting. You might lose by 40 if you do. But at least make, a fight. Like, they just felt like they gave up. I think he truly gave up. So that's just a side note. I think they're going to take a step back. I think that I think they peaked. I think this year is going to be their peak. I think they peak this year. I think this is going to be like they're respectable, but I don't think they're going to be. And this is a lot to ask anyway. But I don't think they're going to be over top. I don't think he's got that dog to do it. I don't think he's got that dog in him to take him over top. I don't think he'll have that the mentality that's going to be necessary to make that happen. Kind of like Dan has done for the Lions. Love is a top 4 candidate to win Heisman. He looked crazy, dude. He looked crazy last game, man. Some of those runs were so like, man, they were just heartbreaking. Like I can't remember when it was. I think it was in the 4th quarter, and it was like, dude was getting hit 5 yards behind the line. And he just stiff-armed dude, and he's like, I'm getting that first down. And he's fast as heck, too, bro. It's like, yeah, that's tough. Even the play he almost jumped over, dude, I thought was impressive. Yeah, he's tough, man. That dude's tough. Yeah, shout out to Notre Dame. I was off on that one for sure. In fairness, I didn't really watch Notre Dame play this year, so, But I was a hater, and they handled business. I was wrong. Georgia will be fun. I'm excited for that. Hopefully Beck plays at some point, but either way. All right, let's go to the defensive side because, this comes back to last time we played this team. I think you can run on Chicago, and we did run on Chicago pretty well. It wasn't great all the time. Some of the outside zones kind of got limited. They kind of became like 3 yards. But you could definitely run on this team, I believe. I got Penn State. I think Penn State's good. I think Penn State's pretty darn good. Even though I never really believed that, you know what I mean? Like, they never beat anybody good, but I think they're a good team, and I think they're good enough to beat SMU. I don't think they'll go much further than that, but I think they'll probably lose to Boise, to be honest, but I think they'll win this one. But yeah, you can run on them, and I think a big part of this, too, is, it goes back to what I was showing all the clips with Easy. I won't do that again, but you can get up to their backers, and on so many of these plays, you'll see linemen getting to backers. You can see by their run fits defensively, there's like changing fronts. Last time we played this team, you won't see it here, but they started going double A gap, and the Lions said, all right, let's run some stretch runs out of it. So the Lions just had to adapt to the fronts they were throwing up front. So just come in with a multiple game plan rush scheme and being able to kind of get to certain runs based on the front. You could truly play their front and I think find success on the run game based on how they're adapting. They change fronts. They do slant sometimes. This is the guy, Kyler Gordon, because they'll play some like single gap looks where they'll just kind of slant it. But a lot of times, they're in spots where their linebackers are just being asked to kind of fill off the defensive lineman rather than just like get to your gap. And I think that leads to more inconsistency, especially if you're creating any kind of movement or specifically with interior runs. I think you can get a lot of movement. So for me, I think you're going to run the ball well against this team. I think you can run the ball well against this team. And a little note about this guy here, Kyler Gordon. He's a dog. But they don't match personnel from what I've seen when you have 2 tight ends on the field. Maybe that changed against us. But if you go 2 tight ends, you got Laporta and Brock we'll see on Brock. Probably Shane. But if you have 2 tight ends on the field and they're both in line, they're probably going to not match that and put a third backer on the field. They're going to lean Kyler Gordon. When they match personnel, you put a fullback out there. So I don't know that Brock will kind of swing that for them, right? If they put Brock at fullback, if they're like, all right, let's do this. But I definitely think that jumbo packages will get an extra backer on the field. And that is a opportunity to 100% throw the football. Throw the football when you get them into 3 backers because as soon as Kyler Gordon comes off the field, it is not the same second level. You go at Sanborn or whoever heck playing linebackers. So you get that opportunity, you go at it. But even we're seeing here with these power runs, you see the down block, you see the ability to get up to the second level. I don't think Edmonds is fantastic. I think he's been kind of shaky this year. I love TJ Edwards, but I think he's shaky. So I think you can have success against that. Here you got a lighter box, 2 deep safeties. You get the toss stretch look. They scrape really fast, as we're seeing like this. So I think it matters which side you run to a lot of times, like which side you're actually going to attack. Like this one, you can see the linebackers kind of cheating over to that side, and they're going to slant inside the gap, so jump inside, kick back outside. So you have to be adaptable to the fronts and how they're aligned rather than just going strong side, weak side, because depending on how they're aligned, I think it's going to open those opportunities. But I truly do believe that you can get up to these guys at second level. You can find success as long as you have the right scheme for what they're in. And, we're seeing a lot of these weak side toss runs here, but you can see what they're capable of. And usually I like it more towards the strong side because I like going right at their backers rather than letting a guy like Edwards chase or track down. I'd rather go right at Edwards. So usually I like running at him because this is what he does, and that's what makes him such a dog is things like that. Is it for like 1-15? Yo, no, they absolutely are terrible. They drive me nuts because they don't beat anybody good. It drives me nuts. I hate it, but I think they'll win this game. You know what I mean? I think they will, but yeah. No, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if they don't. Here's the guy. Cowart. May not know who he is. You're about to find out. Well, you might know because last time he was okay against us. 93 has been an animal. So this has been, they got Zach Pickens. They got Walker that'll kick in. They got some dudes. But Cowart and Chris Williams have been like 2 guys that have emerged to me. And Coward has been amazing recently. And this is the kind of thing that he's been capable of. That matchup with Frank Ragnow, who has been shaky the last few games, against a guy in Coward, like, on paper, you'd say, oh, Frank's going to dominate, but he hasn't been great the last few weeks. This is a week to be like, I'm that dude. Stop playing with me. You know what I mean? If he does, it'll be awesome. And I look forward to seeing that because he's been really good these last few weeks, shutting down these zone runs, staying on top of gaps. You can't reach block him. He's been tough, man. That's what he's just been creating for teams is that. I expect us to have some success, and I think Frank will, but that'll absolutely be a matchup to watch. And then these outside zone looks that they went to, you could see the movement they were able to create, like here on court, but even on the backside specifically, that's kind of where this issue comes into play. They're able to reach block the backside, cut off block, he can't get inside here, and now you turn it into a big run. I think you're capable of doing the things. You can lead on to the athleticism, and then you can start to get to some more of the gap schemes if you want to go that direction, if Mahogany is who's going to play. But you can see a lot of times, these nose tackles are going to be a handful for Frank Ragnow. I think that's going to be it. Now, we're getting these outside zone runs. You're seeing the weak side attack. You're seeing the numbers game here, and it's there. Edmonds is flying off the backside. That's what they're good at, but it's there if you can reset this block because now he kicks up, and boom, you're off to the races. And Gibbs had a nice game. He did nice on these inside runs. I think Gibbs will run well again, but if you don't, all of a sudden, boom, you're right there because they will fly around. I think that's why immediately, this is what the Lions did, right? What Minnesota's doing here. Immediately, they came in and said, jet runs, end arounds, we're going to show this. And the Lions ultimately got to it. They got to it early with the jet for like 3 yards. They went to an end around later for like 17 yards. They then got to it. Like sometimes they show and they never use it. Lions used it. Use it again this week. You have to because you're seeing how disciplined their backers are. But if you're going to make them undisciplined, you have to use it 1 or 2 times because they're just going to settle down, use it, get outside of these guys, at very least make the edge rushers respect it. Make the edge rushers slow down. Make him take a wide angle so that cutback lane has a chance, right? Because this is the kind of thing that the Lions did against Chicago last time. Look at how wide dude is, right? Because he had to respect the jet. So now all of a sudden, you have a massive cutback opportunity for Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's got a long way to go. These are not the most spry and athletic, man, watch him just they're not that at the edge, right? They're a little bit thicker, a little bit longer. If you can pull them and hold them, that's the key more so than linebackers to me. So make them respect it early. And then as soon as they do, you get opportunities like this where this can open up for you. Now, this was just blocked up well, so it didn't even matter here. But that opportunity can open the door. And we know Gibbs, if there's anybody in the league, he might be the one guy in the league, not the one guy, but he's probably one of the top guys in the league where if you said you get that look, who would you want to have the football? Gibbs would be up there because Gibbs is going to hit that, and he's just going to cut that angle so fast that the defensive end has absolutely no chance. They have absolutely no chance to make a play on that. So I expect the Lions to try to lean into that a little bit. And then even on a play like this, whether that's Darrell Taylor at edge, who's not great, an edge like this where you got him working on a tight end, you kind of sealed off the backside, boom, cutback lane is there. That's what you're capable of doing, I think, and Cowart's the guy that actually forced this out again because Cowart's a dog. He's been really good, and you're seeing these guys working. Look at the guys working. Look at these dudes, man. I'm telling you, they got some dudes on the inside. That's going to be the matchup. Look how they're getting off the ball here. Right? You get this outside run again, outside zone run here, and you can see the interior is just blowing this thing up. They're capable of doing that. So that's the matchup for consistency. Need better screens for Gibbs. He's too fast, though. Man, and we did have, we had the big one. I think we ran 2 to him last week. It may have been just the one. I know the one he fumbled on, he had the huge gain. That may have been the other one, but I thought he had 2. But the Lions did find a little bit with that. This wouldn't be a bad game to do it again. Because I think you want to, if anything, as we go through this pass game, you want to make their linebackers have to tackle in space. Because especially once you get behind the chains and they're kind of settling in, they're playing really good third down defense, and they do have some pressure pieces that can come alive. Rather than trying to fit super tight windows all the time, throwing picks, that kind of thing, just make them tackle. Make them prove they can tackle. If you watch the Minnesota game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because even when they did tackle, they gave up first downs. Think about it. They gave up a 3rd and I think 16 because Kevin Byard, he made the tackle, but they checked it down to Hawkinson. He picked up a first down. Very beginning of the game. Very beginning, I think it was a 3rd and 17. They checked it down, picked up a first down. Picked the first down. Edwards misses the tackle. Make them tackle. Make them tackle in space. Make them tackle in the cold weather. Make them go get Gibbs in the flat. Don't force something. Just make them prove that they're going to tackle consistently because they're going to be settling on the sticks aggressively. So make them prove they can tackle. Now, this is what they do well. All right, we're going to start to get into this coverage looks. This is what they do well. This underneath coverage is tough. So this is what I'm talking about. 2 deep safeties, quarters looks. the underneath ability that they have is what makes them so tough. They plaster things underneath. So the first read's out there. He spilled out of the pocket. Now you get whatever that was, and that was an interception. That's where they're difficult, but if they know, like, hey, it's 3rd and 8, we can sit here, they can go to cover 4 and just settle on the sticks, and they really take away windows. So rather than always trying to find that window, I think you do 2 things. You say either, one, we're going to find I think there's a couple things. One, you try to find a one-on-one matchup. Maybe you throw a back shoulder pass that we tried last time to Saint. We missed it. Try that. Number 2, try a 2-man concept out wide. You know, whether that's us saying we're gonna try the scissor setup, whether that's us saying, hey, we're gonna run a double post, you know, or we're gonna try to do a delayed wheel out of it, something like that. Try to get away so you can pry it to the sideline a little bit, or just check it down and make them prove they can tackle. Make them prove that they're gonna go make that play in space, because at that point you're probably kicking a field goal or punting anyway. But you give yourselves a chance. Don't take away your opportunity by just taking a sack because you didn't see anything open, because more times than not, things probably won't be open. I'm just going to be honest. They're really good in those spots. They just don't give a lot of openings there. And you're seeing even like this. Like, this was a late find. Gordon's not in a bad spot. He just faded a little bit too far out of the play. So standing in, waiting, giving the chance underneath is important there. And then you can also see, I don't think they're a great pressure team. They don't blitz that often. They will blitz on 3rd down, but they're not like, man, they're not blitzing a lot. They don't blitz that much at all. They're not a incredible team up front. So even if Graham is out, as long as that guy is okay, if he's solid, I expect us to have some time in the pocket. And, you know, someone asked if we'd run it 30 times. I will say this. I had it in my notes last time we played Chicago. I loved throwing on 1st down against this team last time. I loved it. Now, weather may change that. And I think we had enough run success last time where it was like, we don't have to. We can run the ball on 1st down. I think ideally you do that. It's simpler. But I will say that, hey, if you go back to that Chicago game, we threw the ball well on 1st down. We got a more simplified coverage. We got a lot more of their cover 3 looks, because they're a team that kind of does that, cover 3, cover 4. They got to cover 6. They got a lot more cover 3 looks. They're able to find a little bit more simplified answers in the flats, in the chips, and the little things underneath, the chip delay. Like, they were able to find easier throws than when they go too deep and they kind of take everything away and they force you into, like, hey, go underneath. They do a really good job of that. So, and when the Lions got him into cover 3 on 1st down, so say you go jumble personnel, it's 1st and 10. If you go single back, they're probably going to blitz. Keep an eye on that. That's when they will blitz. So if you pick it up, and they do blitz, and you lose the player underneath coverage, they'll probably go cover 3 in the back end. Now you have an opportunity to get real one-on-ones out wide, because Terrell Smith is not great in coverage. Neither is Tyreek Stevenson. You can go at either of those guys, especially with J-Mo. Go at either of those dudes. You know what I mean? You're going to get those matchups, and you're also going to make a much more simplified pass to just getting the ball into the flats, creating layers. And I do think you can throw the ball on 1st down, especially with play action looks against this team. I think it fits us well. I forgot there were Saturday games on today. Play Now, that's a game I might want to consider watching. Yeah, I'm going to check that out for sure. I'm going to have to check that out for sure. Go Texans, but I picked the Chiefs, you know what I mean? So that's go Texans, though. So when you do another mini scary movie, that was awesome. By the way, creepy stuff. Good stuff. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Look, man, I don't know if the next one is scary. I don't want to say what the plan is next. Hold up, did I mute myself? I don't want to say what the plan is next exactly, because I don't know. But I have been in talks with Speakeasy. Maybe the next step is we get Speakeasy and we do a little collab skit. All right, that's what I'm hoping to do, is jump on that. I think that'll be the next potential thing that we bring, and hopefully not too far out. You know, we bring that, and it probably will be it'll be a comedy. I'm sure it won't be what that last one was. The last one, I was like, I just want to see how this works. I mean, I've been waiting to do something like that for so long. I had the equipment. I just want to see what I could do with it. There's parts I hate. I'm like, oh, man, I wish that was better. But it was like, all right, I'm just gonna try something. But from there, like, yo, the comedy ones are the best, bro. Those make me laugh. So I think that we have that coming soon. He made a good choice going back to Penn State. I agree. I think he can help us a lot. He could be in a really good spot going back. Wasn't it the Bears game that Tim broke out? Look for him to. Yes, Tim played well in this game. Well, also, I would say Laporta played really well, too. I think Tim really broke out against the game he had 2 touchdowns. What game was that? Was that Green Bay? I think that was Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay. But I would also say Laporta was awesome last time we played this team. And even the Vikings had a lot of success with Hawkinson. Keep an eye on Laporta. So yeah, another one of these quarters looks. You can see how well that they kind of take everything away. The one guy here that gets overly aggressive with the back is Tremaine Edmonds. He's the guy to go at. Typically, TJ Edwards is not going to give you these. That said, though, they're a little bit deeper here, and they're using their back as the threat. The Lions have started to implement the last few weeks. The back is the threat. respect it. We saw last week, cover 3, we were right behind him. Respect Gibbs out of the backfield. So I think the respect level for Gibbs could be very helpful. And then, yeah, again, this is what they do. I mean, look at this coverage. Look at the underneath coverage here. They're taking everything away. They're forcing you to throw a tight window pass. Jalen's in a good spot. You got to go at Tyreek, not Jalen. Most of the time, go at Tyreek. And you can see that they cover those things up well. Now, when you get into more of these simplified coverage looks, this is where you want to live. Cover 3 defense. They're playing the sky roll here. They blitz out of it. There's a little bit of variety here. But look at what happens. One-on-one out wide here with Terrell Smith. Cooked him. I mean, that's a good receiver, but he cooked him. Cover 3 here. Watch this. In, out. It's like a post corner. Watch this again. Cooks him. Bam. Now it's Justin Jefferson. He's a dog, but he cooks him. That's where the Lions will probably want to throw the ball on first down. If they get those looks, they're probably going to throw the ball. It also helps that you run the ball, because if you run the ball like crap on first down, they may be like, we're not going to do any cover 3. They're not going to do that. We're not going to give you that. So, yeah, probably find a way to run the ball. But this is what they do well. Even in these cover 3 looks, you got to keep an eye on their backers, because they'll take away vertical shots. I think there's an opening to attack it. And I'm going to show you what that is here in a second. But keep an eye on the free safety and the backers, because the free safety to me is the one guy that you can really exploit, as well as the backside corners that get a little bit like nonchalant, aggressive. You can get behind those guys. Deep corner routes can work. Post corners like we just saw one-on-one. But they can work to beat zone coverage, especially because their linebackers will take away these like over routes. They'll run and chase and take those away, especially when they're going to 3 match coverage. And then, again, this is just kind of your basic beater, though. Overload the coverage. Pretty simple here. Terrell Edmonds is the guy you go at. He's just kind of a step late. Even Kyler Gordon's a step late there, but he's just a dog. I don't like throwing it at Kyler Gordon. If you guys remember last time we played this team, remember they had the 101, they threw it in the end zone to Saint, and he broke it up. He ran like the skinny post, and he broke it up. Like, he was all over that. Kyler Gordon's really good there. He's really good in those spots, and maybe Chicago tries it. Maybe they try a little more match stuff, less spot dropping. Like that would make sense. I mean, I would do it if I was Chicago. You know what I mean? Because I'd be like, hey, let's make them uncomfortable a little bit. Let's see if they can find ways to win. And the weird thing about Chicago is on third down, they played a lot of man against us. Versus like Minnesota, they didn't play that much man at all. They played like man every third down against us. So I think that's truly we think this team's different than Minnesota, right? It's not like we're dealing with Jordan Addison, Jefferson. We want to see if guys can go win. All right. Then go win. And Laporta played well in this game, and I think that he's another, good matchup. And so did J-Mo, right? This was like kind of I don't want to say the breakout game, but it was like when J-Mo played this game, it was like we have an answer out the outside. Like in the past, like it was like, okay, I don't know if we have an answer on the outside, and Chicago will give us problems. In this game, Jameson became the answer. Because cover 3 used to be the hardest coverage for us to beat. But Jameson became the answer. He was winning one-on-one. And we were able to go at Terrell Smith or Tyreek Stevenson, regardless of who it was. So I think that changes a lot. Different person is calling defensive plays. It's funny. Nick, talks about them playing that soft zone coverage. And I think we saw that, but I think a lot of that was also Minnesota. But they may be doing more of that. More quarters, more cover 6. And it's harder to pass the ball against, but they give you the underneath stuff a little bit more when they do that. They still, though, to me, have a lot of the elements of who they were before that. I still think they do a lot of good things defensively. Like, you'll get these match coverage looks that are pretty good as well. Like, they still do good things. And then on third down, they'll still play third and long. They're going to buzz the safety, settle on the first down. I think they give you a lot of the same things. They just may give you it at different rates. Like, it may be more heavy two-deep safeties. But against us, I don't think they're going to play us the same as they played Minnesota. You know what I mean? I don't expect this to look the same as when we played Minnesota. And, then these match routes, if they are going to match concepts, I just want to show one example of this. This is where you got to get at him. I expect a lot of two-man concepts from the Lions in this game. Minnesota leaning into it heavily, meaning, all right, deep guy's going to run a corner, underneath hitch route, right? We'll kind of go boom, boom. We'll underneath or we'll go long, right? High, low kind of deal. It works against Chicago, especially single high. And Minnesota lived into that. The Lions do it because now all of a sudden, even when they're matching coverage, meaning that he's going to carry vertical off to the free safety, they're matching their coverage in cover 3. There's two things that they are going to give you out of that. The first thing is they'll give you the running back flat, because here's what happens. If the number 2 goes vertical and the flat corner has to carry the number 2 because he's in match coverage, and he gets pulled out of the play because he's on the outside, he's a deep third, the linebacker then has to be responsible to work underneath and take a back out of the backfield. So it isolates a running back singled up. So this isn't the example of that. I think I have one later. But also, this is the other answer. It's high-low. It's leverage. stacks, create leverage, because you can see here that they don't switch this thing off, man. They're not trying to bump this. They're trying to just stick with them. So now you create easy leverage. And then, of course, here you can see Justin Jefferson gets open in the end zone once the red zone looks. Kind of the same thing, right? Cornerback bites on the run, single eye safety. There's no backside leverage help. He's walking in the end zone. That's where they get dangerous. That's where big plays happen. I know that's a red zone look, but trust me when I say, like, they will give you that. They will give you that look. They'll give you that. And we're going to see an example of very shortly here. And then back to their Tampa 2 stuff where they're pretty darn good. They're pretty darn good as we see there. We'll show a couple different looks of these. There's the high-low kind of setup to Justin Jefferson. They go underneath here. Make them tackle. Make them prove they can tackle. Watch Hockenson here. This is what you got to do. You got to make him prove he's going to make that tackle in space because sometimes they don't, and that's their problem. Laporta can make guys miss. A lot of these guys that we love are because they make guys miss. That's one of their biggest attributes. So make them prove they can do it. Make them prove they can tackle Saint. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. And then these inside duo runs, man, they work. They're going 2 deep. Safeties do this because their gaps aren't, like, immediately filled. You can see that they're stacking backers. They're not settling. You see how they're not settling? They're not showing B gap, showing A gap. They're stacking. So they have to fill based on how the D-line plays, which gives them variety and, like, oh, we can slant it. We don't know who's filling where. But the problem becomes is it slows you down if you get double teams that don't allow him to actually pick a gap. If this guy can't settle into this spot and a lot of linebackers be like, I'm going, he just has to sit on his heels and wait. So now you're seeing on a play like this, watch it, he's just standing back there waiting because he doesn't know where he's going. And he's like, I got to play both spots here. Now, again, they end up winning 64. I think that's Chris Williams. Now I think Chris Williams. Whoever 64 is, let me double check. I thought that was Chris Williams, but let me double check. But that's where it's like, okay, that works because I think that's a big reason you could run on this team is because of that reason right there. You make them wait. 64 is, that's Jonathan Ford. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's another recent pickup, and Jonathan Ford's been good too, man. Do you see the Jets dysfunctional report? It's hilarious. That was hilarious. I was laughing. That was amazing. It was hilarious, bro. What's good? I see you, Sir Richard. Off topic, you think Eberflus gets hired as a DC next year? Yes, I would say yes. I think so. I think that he's proven himself as a DC, and I don't think he has like hate around the league. I don't think people like hate Eberflus. I don't think they trust him right now, but I don't think they hate him. I think he's a cool guy, and I think so. I think there's some dudes that got hired at DC that you're like, what? I mean, Vic Fangio had some rough defense statistically for a couple years. He got hired, but he's like the guy of all this. I think Eberflus should get hired. Matt Nagy got hired. You know what I mean? After being a head coach, I think so. And then, you know, again, we're kind of going back to the same looks here. They got the cover 6 little wrinkles. Again, high red zone. They can kind of shift over top here. And you can see that there's a little bit of pressure they can create. Darrell Taylor will be a guy to watch. One of their newer additions, 52, this guy. He's pretty good. You know, their edge defender, Darrell Taylor's pretty darn good. And you can see how they take everything away here, right? They plastered underneath. TJ Edwards is a dog, steps on top of that. He's just stepping on him right there. I mean, he's a problem. TJ Edwards is a problem in coverage. But I'm going to show you where that becomes a weakness. In my opinion, where I think the Lions could exploit that for a big one in this game. I love this. Fast motion. They'll bring it back. Last time they played this team, fast motion. Against Buffalo, fast motion. Because against cover 3, it opens the flats. And this is what they do. You see how he's playing this? He's trying to funnel and everything back inside. Kyler Gordon's like, nope, go that way. And that's what teams do in the NFL is they try to squeeze everything inside. So again, take the check down here. But that's kind of who they are, right? So if it's 3rd and long, and they got to go buzz. This is what they do on 3rd and long. Cover 3 buzz. They're going to funnel it, and they're going to say, squeeze it to the middle where all of our good players are. That's who they are, and it's smart. That's why 3rd and long, got to avoid. Can't have a holding call because this is a problem. Maybe try to run it on 3rd down because sometimes they'll give you those looks. This is a problem. But get the ball out and trust someone to try to go make something happen because this will happen. They gave him a 1st down on that. You're watching that play. It shouldn't be a 1st down, but it turns into 17 yards. He gives the 1st down. There was no reason that was, but it's just because he gave him a chance. Again, look at them funneling. Right? They're actually, I think they ended up, is he going to throw this one? I don't remember what happened on this play. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, they buzz it down again. Edmund Stettle's on here. They take away the over route. Check it down. Get the ball to your hands. That's it. You got to get the ball to your hands. And then, you know, we go back to these 2 deep looks a little bit. I wanted to show where I think their safety can be got. I think that this is kind of an example of that, but you'll see it a little bit better. This backside hook curl defender is important. So they're funneling everything in. He's got a respectable guy in the flat, so he's in no spot to drop out and take this away. So there's that aspect. If we look at what they're doing here, the big opening to me is going to be these spots because sometimes this cornerback will be too aggressive with the underneath and you can get behind him. Other times you peel him out of the play. He's late to give it to the safety. This will be the opening for the Lions. I would also say back to those quarters looks if they are sitting in those. If you guys remember, what was Jamo's big play against Cowboys? It was quarters, right? The Lions just isolated the cornerback without leverage, and that's where J-Mo gets over top. You run a dig route, safety drops, you just go right behind him, and J-Mo's got leverage on the guy, and most guys can't catch Jameson when he's just taken off. So that's how you create that. But you're going to see some of the beaters here as we continue through. You're going to see how certain guys open up. Like here, this Tampa 2 coverage a little bit. You're going to see how the fade opens up, right? Safety starts to cheat inside. He drops it off to the safety. Now the opening. You have to pull these safeties. That's how you create openings, is that these safeties will leave, and they'll give you shot opportunities. I think this is the one right here. Look at this one. Look at the shot opportunity. Now, there's two things that happen, but the big one is this. Backside hook curl. So this is what I was talking about. Watch how he does this. So the backside corner does not bail and take this. The deep third. He stays underneath. Flat, he stays underneath. So the backside hook curl bails. Now, obviously, that opens up a little bit area, but they play it well. So he bails. But also, look at what the free safety's doing. Eyes are on the corner. Where is the free safety going? He's helping over top because he's out leveraged on the play. So this creates a breakdown for the defense. Because if I run 2 verticals, big post, big corner route, now they're in a bad spot where if they're spot dropping and not matching coverage, because typically if you're matching, someone's going to carry it to the free safety and then it's just like a 2-on-1 maybe. But if they're going to spot drop and just try to run and pick this up, the problem becomes if the cornerback's not going to bail and he wants to settle down and play aggressive, and he is, the cornerback can't run with the receiver if he just goes this way and there's no safety help. So the safety's forced to say, I got to help. Darnold's looking this way, but he's forced to help. Now, Darnold goes the wrong way with the football, but he's forced to give him help. If this throws here, it's a touchdown. And again, now it comes back to the backside where look at the backside deep third. He's got an out route. He gets held down, and this guy is wide open. That's how you get this team. You get them at that spot where they're very smart at linebacker. You have to outsmart them. Not even outsmart them. Just use their intelligence to your advantage. Like, hey, they're going to try to pick that up because they see everything. Great. Peel the zone. Right? Out leverage these guys because they play leverage. They understand it. Like, he's out leverage. I got to get over top. So you just play off of that. You're like, all right, cool. That'll take 2. Now he's wide open. And it's a great look. And I think what they're capable of. And this is the weird thing. Against us, they played a lot of man here. Against the Vikings, they played 2 deep. This is cover 6. I don't know how much of that we're actually going to see. But it was a good answer by Minnesota because you can see the window here. And the big key will be if they're doing this, if they are going to play softer zone, as Nick pointed out, if they are going to do that, because he said that he believes the Bears have done it now for the last few weeks. So if we take that as that's what they are, and this is one of those examples, this is how you beat it. Look at how the linebackers played and watch the route. Flatten your routes. Your receiver can't run this to the safety. He has to find a backer and get behind him immediately. You have to create these windows by flattening. You can't go overly in depth and run to the safety and take this away because now you can jump it. You flatten the route, and if the quarterback's on time, there's a window. That's how they beat it, is they started flattening routes immediately as soon as they got behind backers. So that's how you'll beat this coverage. And again, this is just the example of this is what the Bears will give up. Look on the backside here. Look on the backside in coverage. Look what they're giving up here. You get one guy to take Jalen Johnson's attention, and the fade's open on the play. And then again, make them tackle, that kind of thing. I think we got 1 play left, so I'm going to let it roll here. I don't know. Yeah, we got 1 play left. Okay, we got 1 play. Yeah, Kyler Gordon looks like he's coming on this play. This is where the Bears are tricky, though. And this is where I got to give them the flowers. They're tricky here. Chat, let's look at this. This is where they're tricky. You have to, I think, almost assume that you're getting a 2 deep look. But I think you really have to play off of what Chicago's doing in game. Because like here, they're coming out. This looks like cover 3. And then before the snap, watch the slot. Oh, you're thinking now it's cover 3 blitz. Immediately, that's in my mind, like cover 3 blitz. So what does the offense run? They're going to run 4 verts. Bam, 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 vertical. So now if it's cover 3, you know the seam will be open, right? If the linebacker takes this, we can hit right here. We can pull him out of the play. If he blitzes, now it's immediately open. He has to trail over. But he doesn't blitz. He drops. And then he drops and he slides, and they go, I think, quarters or cover 6 on this play, and they take everything away. Watch how this unfolds. Look at this. Everything's taken away. He bails over top, slides. He's got this taken away. This is how they play the seams. In the red zone, if they're playing zone, they don't let anything get behind them. Tampa 2, usually, yes, this is how it looks. But they do it in quarters. They do it in cover 6. They play the seams. What's the advantage of that? Go underneath it. Have a second route. Push him, break it down, or give him one of those, like we kind of saw it last week, where you kind of run like the You can almost run like a stick knot, but kind of like where you curl it and you break it and then you run over the middle of the field. Like you got to settle it down and then you work back over top with Tim Patrick from the middle of the field. Like you give them that. That's how you beat that. So you could set like a 2-man, like a settle down, bam, bam, and get right behind him, right? See if he jumps it. But this is what they do. They'll take seams and then you can see how they plaster everything. And this would be the only throw, but he's going to pick that. So that's where they're tricky. That's where they're tough. And it's why we cannot have flags in this game. Got to work during the game tomorrow, but going to watch the watch party after work. That for rebroadcast. Hey, I appreciate you, Scott, man. That's awesome. Hey, I appreciate you. No, thank you. That's awesome, man. We'll think of you when we're live, man. We'll think of you. Hopefully you bring us some good luck with that. You know what I mean? This could be a big one. We need this one. Let's go real quick to the notes here, and then we'll wrap this thing up, and we'll go to score predictions, chat. We're about to go to score predictions, but I do want to show the Bears' defense on my notes. Predict the Lions cone out, breaking kneecaps, putting up 50. Oh, no, you crazy. Eric, I love it, though. I ain't even mad at you, man. I'm not mad at you at all. I do think, though, I think you're right in this sense. I think there's going to be more points than expected. I think the weather is like, I don't know, but I feel like it usually gives the vibe like, oh, it's going to be like a 17-10 game. I don't buy that. I think there's going to be a lot more scoring in this game from both sides. I mean, if there's no rain, it's just cold, I think they're going to get points. So we go over to this side. Here's the Bears defense. Cowart, I pointed him out a lot. Chris Williams has been good. Watch Kevin Zeitler. He was awesome last time he played this team. Watch Kevin Zeitler. They lean behind him. Expect the Lions to use the fullback. That forces them to put 3 backers on the field or jumbo. Force them to put 3 backers on the field. And then also, what do you get then if you're going 12? You get a tight end versus Gordon. So that's run blocking and passing football, but specifically run blocking. So there's advantage to be had in both. Their fronts change. We saw a wham run with Gibbs. Again, getting to those backers, you're very capable. So as soon as you get to the backers, you're gone. Gibbs picked up 9 by getting to the backers. They went to bare fronts. They went to 303s. They went to double A gaps. They're trying to stop the schemes we have that was so successful in the first half. So they'll adapt based on that. Pick 6, Penn State. Penn State winning. Taylor Decker over Skipper, I think that makes us better. The wide runs, I think, will be better this week. Attack the light box with the inside dual runs, as we kind of showed there by, the linebackers can't really fill because I think we can block well out of those. Mahogany will move guys around too if he's in there. You can see the speed that they have laterally. I think you want to go strong on those runs. You want to go right at Edwards if possible, and then also go at Taylor. Go at Darrell Taylor on the edge. Make him make plays against the run, and then Dexter will be. We'll see if he plays, but if he can't, those inside runs can find success and attach the jets, attach the end rounds from the get-go, and then use it at some point. And then in the pass game, same things, right? Cover 3, use fast motion. We get the flats open, we get the sidelines a little bit peeled open. We overload out of that. We did it last week too. It's the same thing. Second level corner routes. I think it's a big game for tight ends. Sam Laporta was awesome last time they played this team. I think Sam Laporta will have a big game. Bet on whatever his prop is. That's what I would do. I don't know what it is, but we can check it out. I'd bet that. You'll check it out after this. I'd bet that over. And then the boot, flats, chips, delays, throwing on first down kind of opens up that opportunity. A lot of those 2-man concepts, like we said, the boom, boom. Another Skipper TD. It could work against this team. I'm not mad if they're going to play 2 deep. Why not? If I get to 20 and they're 2 deep, why not? Nobody's expecting it twice. I'm not mad at that. I'd like to see it. And then you get the jumbo package anyway. Yeah, let's do it. I'm with it. Running back screens worked well last time, especially on first down. Just make the defense tackle, as we touched on. Goff did really well against Tampa 2 last time. They tried to drop into that a little bit. Goff made good reads there. He typically does. He'll find the underneath thing. He'll get it out of his hands. He'll attack the backers. So that play kind of we saw at the end where they're carrying the seam. He usually plays that well. Go at Stevenson or Smith. J-Mo kind of came to life last time in that spot. And then if you go under center, you can expect they're going to blitz out of zone. So just get that. They jump on rub routes underneath. That's what I'm saying the offense should do is like jump on those opportunities underneath. Shot opportunities, I showed those against the base defense, or specifically what we saw where you attack that safety or even the backers by kind of playing too smart, to be honest with you. And if they go to the match coverage, find the running backs in the flat, go to a 2-by-1. Watch how the line, here's what I'd say, my one key note. Watch how the Lions come out personnel-wise in this game. Not personnel. Watch how they come out formation-wise. Like, are they 3-by-1? Are they 2-by-2? Are they stacking receivers? Keep an eye on that as the game goes on. But I think there's a lot that you create in this game by just alignment. Are they going 4 strong? Like, how are they aligning their receivers? Based on that, will give you a lot of tell on what the Lions are trying to get after. And I think it'll be a fun thing to look back on when the game's over. So kind of just keep an eye on that as the game rolls along. Like, if you see 2 receivers on one side and a tight end and a receiver on the other side and it's working well, kind of make a mental note. And then as you see it again, see how well it continues to work. And maybe like, okay, where are they going with the ball? Because then as the game goes on, if you see like a 3-by-1 And then you see how that plays out, because typically that matters a lot against this team. And finding those ways to work off of alignments. Third down, someone's got to win one-on-one. If it's third and 6+, I think they're going back to that cover 3 look, the sky or buzz. If it's third and short, they go to man all the time. Remember last time we played this team in that like weird rollout throwback to St. Brown, he made a huge play. Do that, you know what I mean? Like, well, don't do that exactly, but that's what they expected. Expected man, they got it. Maybe they get a little bit less of that like they do against other teams, but maybe they just stay in it against us. I don't know. That's, for whatever reason, that's what they do against us. Red zone, I showed it. There's a lot of 2-deep stuff here. They take away the seams. And here's the weird thing, though. That 2-deep look, they didn't do that a ton against us. So here's one of the difference. When we played them last time, there was a lot of blitzing. There was cover 0 looks, some quarters with blitzing everybody underneath, blitzing 6. That's interesting, but that's what they did. Like, they were more aggressive, more singled up in the back end, kind of let us play a one-on-one. J-Mo had the big win last week on a little like corner route in the end zone. So figure out who that's going to be. I think it could be Gibbs. If they're going to blitz, Gibbs on screens is great. As soon as you get inside of 30, look for a Gibbs screen. But in general, they don't blitz heavy. But if they do, it's probably a backer or it's probably Kyler Gordon. And the final thing would be goal line. Fast motion runs, that's how Minnesota scored last week, or counter runs to kind of hold those backers. Because, again, if they're playing slow, they're not great. But if they're playing fast, they're outstanding. So that's the big thing there. But Laporta had a big game. He scored 2 touchdowns, I think. At least 2 last time he played this team. So, yeah, I think he'll be involved again. But, all right, that leaves us with that. That moves us to the score predictions. Hey, maybe Penny completed a pass. Yeah, hey, maybe. You know what I mean? Now he's got a sack on his dang stat sheet. But with that, let's go to score predictions, chat. Let me know your scores. I see a few in here. 38-20, 34-20, close at half. Lions bludgeon them second half. 38-20. Dang, okay, so I said I think there'd be more points, but I feel like the points here have gotten kind of crazy. Okay, I'm not mad at it, though. I'm not mad at it. I feel like for a lot of points, I think what do I like here? I don't want to go crazy with this one because I think Chicago's a solid team. I'm going to say Lions 28. I'll give the Lions 28. I don't know about field goals in this game. I think Dan will be aggressive on the road. I'm going to say Lions 28. Especially after missing a field goal. I'll go Bears 20. 28-20. I'm thinking like less than that, but I'll go 28-20. Like 28-13 would be awesome. I'll go 28-20. That's what I'll do. We'll see if we get it right. I haven't got it right yet this year, so I didn't want to come in with the score. I kind of just want to see, after talking about it, how I felt. And I'm feeling a 28-20. That would be the over, I think, barely. And then it would also cover. They would cover the spread if that's the case. So, with that being said, if you haven't checked out the short from yesterday, check it out. That's what I'm really here for, bro. We need to promote. Check out the short from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen it, why haven't you seen it? I don't know what else to tell you, man. You know what I mean? It's up. Watch it. But if we go over here, to BetUS, YouTube 150 is the code. 150% deposit match, first deposit, 125% your next 2. Up to $2,000 currently, man. That's the offer. 6.5. Yep. I guess I'd roll Lions then, and then 47.5. That'd be right at the over. Yeah, 28-20. I love that score because typically they're kind of on the stuff. So I'm gonna roll with that. And then if you go over here to the prop bets, which we'll do soon, where we got Laporta. Laporta over 5 and 4.5. Ooh, 4.5 is a lot. Okay, I think they're believing in Laporta too. What's his receiving yards at? Hold up. 45. Ooh. Because here's the thing. They used Tim Patrick well last time, too. He's a big run after catch guy. They got him on chip curls. Maybe roll the Tim Patrick 2.5. Tim Patrick is low. I'd probably roll Tim Patrick 2.5 receptions just because I feel like that's a super low number. And I'd be willing to throw the Sam Laporta to 4.5. I might drop it to 3.5. Like, I might adjust that, but I'd be willing to throw the 4.5, I think. You know what I mean? We'll post the short here soon, but I think I could do that. Maybe I drop it though. I think if you go like if you go to receptions, you go to at least, you can drop them. So I might. Oh, you can't even drop it. I'd roll 4. I'd go 4. That way I could be a little bit safer. So I'd take that one off. I just go at least 4. That would it drops the money a little bit, but I think I'd roll that. I don't know. 4.5 ain't crazy though. Maybe go 4.5. Yeah, chat. That's it, man. That's the pregame show thing. There's a lot here. If you're just joining, man, feel free to run it back, skip through it. We talked about Bears defense first, then their offense. There's a lot. But we did it. I appreciate you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. Nobody can parties play out. Oh my goodness. Last night was ugly. What's up, Ryan? Mad about the Buffalo game? Hey, I'm trying to move on. You know what I mean? I ain't even trying to talk about it. We're on to the next. On to the next, man. Now, that game frustrated me too. 27-17. I didn't read that one. 27-17. I like that. That'd be last night, right? I mean, I always put Patrick for mine, 2.5. That's smart, though. He's probably been hitting that now, like last week, 4 weeks now? Like, he's been consistent. That's a low number. I'm surprised it's still that low because Patrick was effective last time, too. And he did a lot of things after the catch, man. So, like, I feel like it's not a bad bet to throw in Tim Patrick. So, yeah, man, that's it, man. I appreciate you joining. Check out the short from yesterday. Let me know if it was crazy or not. And I'm going to leave it there. I will see y'all tomorrow for the game. I think we play at 1. Do we play at 1? My score, I'm going 28-20. 28-20, I got the Lions. 34-15. Doug, that's a goofy score, man. That's got to be like the scoregami kind of deal. Has that ever happened? Hey, maybe you're right, though. I mean, that's not a bad, maybe you're right. It is at 1. Okay, game's at 1 on Fox. So, yeah, we'll be live here, 1 o'clock for that. Probably do a pregame show as well. But until then, I appreciate you joining, man. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy college football. Check out the short if you want to. You don't have to. And I will see y'all tomorrow, man. We out. Go Lions. We need this one. We got to bounce back. Also, hold up. Let me say this real quick. Because we hit on the injuries at the beginning. Dave Montgomery, I'm happy for you. I know we said at the beginning, I'm happy for you, David. You know what I mean? I'm glad he's not going through surgery. He may go on IR, he may not. We got like 5 guys we've already taken off IR. We got 2 probably on the way. I think you can only do 8, they said, during the season. So we got 2 more on the way probably here with Ife Melifonwu and maybe Rakestraw, but there was another one too. Oh, Alex Anzalone. So those 2 are probably on the way, hopefully. So, keep an eye on that because then you got Jalen Reese-Maben. So there's some decisions that are going to have to be made. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I think the Monty thing, that's why it's dangerous for him because they know if they put him on IR and they have to take him back off, then it's like it's gonna be tricky with the numbers game. So keep an eye on that. Unless it restarts in the playoffs, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, man. We out.